Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. How are you all doing this fine Wednesday evening? We've got a match for you. Serenity Gaming Division 2. Sørby Solitude taking on Ikast-Brande eSports. These are the two top teams in the division, 7-0 and 6-1. I'm your play-by-play caster, Milky Cyril. I'm joined by Nicholas, and you've been doing a bit of research onto these teams.
Oh yes, I have, because I've had the pleasure of really just being on this journey, especially with Ikast-Brande and Sørby here. And Ikast-Brande is still in the split as undefeated, and I have to stretch that because these guys have just been playing absolutely insane. They can play through so many different people, and I want to marquee that these guys are just playing on a whole different level. They are so insane, and you will honestly believe that they are already a pro team. Meanwhile, we have Sørby on the other side, just playing so standard, yet so controlled. And I like to see how they take all of these standard, very slow comp, and actually just turn them into a new gear. And it's just so exciting that we get to see them as we are heading into Champions League. I can't wait to see how these two teams will match up.
As we mentioned, Ikast-Brande undefeated this split, 7 series to 0. They've lost 2 games in those 7 series, and their coach Hunika, someone we know very well. He's watching from the hospital. Get better soon. And I'm pretty sure the last time I was casting for SRG, Hunika was in the hospital as well. So, yeah, I'm not quite sure about that one. But we are straight into picks and bans, and the Jax and the Nunu getting banned away straight on.
Yeah, I do believe that Renegade, with these split-pushing solo laners, especially the fighters, can be a really big threat. So putting some bans onto him is a great spot, as well as just getting rid of Kreiner's Nunu is just insanely good, and Renekton for Bjelle, that's just so amazingly strong band that just immediately sets the tone for you guys are not getting comfort, because we believe that we can straight up just out-chill you with any other comp you have.
Yeah, and now the Renekton and the Nautilus bands come through as well. No focus on that Kais. However, something that I haven't mentioned just yet, you haven't mentioned yet, Nicholas, but I've just realized I happened to play a game of League earlier today, actually a couple, and we are in pre-season right now. Yes, different Drakes, maps changing, everything is here right now.
Yeah, indeed, and as we are heading into the pre-season, we have a lot of changes coming in, and we will explain them to those who may not have seen all of them yet.
Yes,
as
like
we have
me.
New items, we have some absolutely insane Drake synergies, with Renka somehow not liking Infernals as much anymore. But definitely we can see still some very same picks, as they probably haven't quite adapted yet in the last 24 hours, with Garen coming in immediately, and of course Renegades on, as we love to see it.
Yeah, and there's the Kai'Sa as well. We talked about how the Kai'Sa hadn't been banned, picked up. Now, that Garen could potentially get picked up with the Yuumi. Maybe we could see that Garen-Yuumi synergy coming through. But then again, Yuumi not one of the strongest champions right now. We'll have to see what Kreiner wants to pick up as well. You've been focusing a little bit of attention towards him. Don't do it! You can hover the center, don't lock... Oh no, they've locked in the center.
Though, let's see what they're pairing it with, because people have already experimented, and Senna actually seems to be really strong. Especially, funnily enough, people have found a lot of success as an ADC with it, which I find surprisingly funny, since she's actually out-damaging many of them. As we see the Caitlyn, perfect synergy here with the long-range bot lane, just completely poking them out.
Please pick the Leona. I'm sorry, if Ikast-Brande do not pick up the Leona, as far as I'm concerned, they are trolling. As everyone in the Serenity Gaming Discord knows...
There's a Brom open. Nah, of course it's...
Okay, I'll take Blitzcrank. Blitzcrank's good. So, right, I'm going to give you my thought on this, Nick, because as everyone in the Serenity Gaming Discord knows, I absolutely hate Senna. Because, in my opinion, she is the... So, unless you get the Senna counter pick, if you pick Senna before the enemy support, you're trolling, because, in my opinion, she's the worst support out there. Because if you go something like that Leona, or in this case a Blitzcrank, if you go on that Senna, she is dead. If you hit any CC on her, she just blows up, and she has no way to counter it. But that's my personal opinion.
Yeah, there's definitely some exploitable weaknesses, Blitzcrank being one of the best counters to Senna, as we've currently mentioned. He does really struggle early game as Senna, as you don't have any clear mobility. You do have your shroud that you can just try and move speed your way out, but still it's not a great way because you usually need a dash or a flash to get rid of a perfectly timed blitzcrank hook, as we are getting some very key bans here. So Joanni, very nice, and just because the potential of Senna flags into mid lane, as we also have seen, the Morgana ban as well. Meanwhile, the soundtrack for Uzi Matt just immediately taking that off is perfect. And I would personally like to see a Yasuo ban here, because I don't want to see Uzi Man playing it again. I am kind of tilted to see them keep letting it through, because Uzi just plays it so well.
Yeah,
and it's coming down.
The Yasuo Gragas combo was available, but does it get banned at the end? I'm quite interested by that Morgana ban as well, considering that Senna has been picked up. So do Ikast feel that maybe this isn't a Senna support and going to get flex somewhere else, or do they just think that Thrower Guard might be playing that Morgana?
I mean, I could definitely see Frogard playing it, but I do still believe that Natasha thrives when playing something that's either incredibly tanky or heal focused. So when you have something that just in general has a shield on it, I think Natasha can play it. Though I do like to see Purple Wizard finally getting to play as Kha'Zix. Not seeing that very often. He has been known to do some carry performances during the split. We had a lot of questions coming into it, as he was kind of seen as perhaps a weaker spot given Purple Wizard's usual track history, not being the most standout player on his team. But they've really taken the approach that just let Purple Wizard sometimes take the entire game out of control by himself, and that has worked out great for them so far.
Now the Karma has come through, and
that's a great flex.
I love Karma into all. I think
job, and let's fucking go.
So, right, okay. So does this mean it's a Garen mid, Karma top, or is it Karma mid, Garen top?
I mean the flex between Karma and Senna more so than anything.
Oh yes, that's true as well.
But I would not say that Garen would go mid here at all. Like, the only way I can see that is if there's somehow a really bad pickup here for Uzimat. Yeah, like you don't want to go Garen into Syndra, definitely not. No. I would believe that if it's the Syndra login here, it's gonna be Karma mid and then Senna support, but who knows, maybe they have just tried it out. Yeah. Two different other places, but this will just be a very heavy version of shield comp, and will have a lot of engage. Though I am a bit surprised that Sørby doesn't have more AoE. Of course, I do have the Karma and Garen, which are great AoE, but they don't have the ADC to really be that late game carry threat. Meaning that I do actually still think that Ikast is slightly ahead, because they have the early game potential with the Blitzcrank and Kha'Zix, and still the late game in Lunsen, Uzimat and Renegade just absolutely hammering the point through.
Yeah, and I want to take a look at this 5-man comp from Sørby, because you've got a Garen, you've got a Karma, you've got a Senna. Once that Karma has the Athenes as well, there is so much health regen coming through from this side, and if they get an Ocean Drake or two, especially with how everything's started to change in terms of those Drakes, that could be really, really big for them, and they could just take on so, what's the term for it, prolonged team fights.
Yeah, and one thing we also have to just kind of acknowledge is that Saltson here on this Caitlyn is gonna be the crucial point for Sørby. If Saltson goes down, everything just gets ruined. So when you have like a Kha'Zix, a Blitzcrank, a Syndra, a Kai'Sa, you can't ever afford to get caught out. This is one of the hardest comps to play into, but Caitlyn has the range to kind of survive it. But this is very much dependent on a pick comp not being able to do picks. So Sørby really has the work cut out for them, especially with this ADC who has to carry by himself as we are heading into the game.
Yeah, with that said and done, we are making our way into game. And two of the scariest things for me anyway coming into this is A, I have not learned any of Senna's abilities just yet. And B, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what the new support items are called. I think there's something about a shoulder anyway. And so now essentially Relic Shield, you've got two Relic Shields. A Relic Shield that gives you AP and a Relic Shield that gives you AD, which I kind of like.
Yeah, and the same for Spell Fuse, of course.
Yeah. So I want to also know your opinion on this, as both teams going with 5-man stacks here. Thresh, do you think it is now no longer viable as Ancient Coin no longer exists?
I don't think that's the case at all. I just think that Thresh will fall down in priority, as well as other supports that were really abusing it, such as Pyke. I do think that also the supports that were just taking it for the sake they couldn't proc spell thieves all the time, like Soraka, might also just have a little harder time. But this should open up for more aggressive playstyles in bot lane, while still making sure that they will have a drop off at some point. And as far as I can recall, the item stats from it were not very strong. So at the same time, while they give more offensive stats now, they shouldn't be very oppressive, which is the biggest point about support before.
Yeah. And of course, with that changes to the support items as well, you no longer need to make a purchase to upgrade your support item. It automatically does it once you hit 500 gold and then 1000 gold. So a nice little buff to supports that will allow them to get those kind of item power spikes like the Zeeks or Knight's Vow a little bit sooner.
Yeah.
And there we go. The first hook of the game already coming through onto the Caitlyn. Look how much damage gets dropped, but the Kai'Sa can't get that fourth shot off, as the Blitzcrank will back off.
Yeah, I'm just gonna hide in here because that's apparently the new meta.
This is the new meta for all hook supports. You stand in the Alago.
ADC stand close to the bush. I'm gonna hook the moment they walk up as level 2 comes in.
And this time they find the center. So much damage coming through so quickly from this bot lane of Ikast-Brande. And this is exactly what I wanted to see personally. A center gets picked up. You abuse that center in a similar way to when the Sona Taric used to get picked up all those months ago.
Yeah, and while we usually probably finding Kaina here, yep, just getting some poke down. But yeah, bot lane. So far, 3 sums already down for Sørby. Meanwhile, we still have both sums on for Lunsen. He can definitely go for a play, especially with the no flashes. That's a big one for bot lane especially. And let's see if, like, when Uzimat hits level 6, Renegade hits level 6, those TPs down bot lane are certainly the big possibility.
Yeah, and Juggernaut has that Hex Flash available to him as well. So, you know, you could even say it's a 2.5 summoner advantage here for the side of Ikast-Brande as Decisive Strike comes through.
Them traits.
Yeah, and I guess it's kind of what you want to see this Garen being able to do in these early few levels, where he does seem to be having a bit of an advantage over Renegade's Ornn.
Yeah, and so far it's just looking very, very standard. Like, we see the Blitzcrank going for massive early game hooks as Purple Wizard is going to bot lane.
Purple Wizard turning up. Oh, the hook lands again. CC will come through onto Juggernaut, but the TP now getting channeled from a Sørby. Juggernaut going to be forced to back off, as will Purple. BL looking for Lunsen, will find the Decisive Strike, and there is a Judgment. No longer the isolation damage will come through. No kills just yet. First Blood still on the cards.
Yeah, and that was 2 sums away because Natasha used Ignite as well as Biella using TP here. That's just gonna give Renegade a massive advantage. And at the same time, Lunsen and Majora Juggernaut here, they both still have decent health. Like, it's not like they can't contest the wave. They will just use those relic procs because that item still exists, sadly. No, but seriously, like,
what's wrong with Relic Shield?
Pussy.
On stream as well. We apologize for Nicholas's language a lot.
But we see the gang coming up for topside for Jarvan.
Like and Drag finds a knock up onto Renegade. Our flash away, as you mentioned. Purple Wizard is nearby as Renegade looks to turn it around. But they will just find a little bit of return damage. Still, no kills just yet as we hit the 5-minute point in the game. Now, we do have a Mountain Drake. The Rift does not change until the 10-minute mark, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I'm still a bit uncertain about Rift Herald changes, to be honest. I didn't have the opportunity to really
You get 2 now, don't you?
Yeah, like, that's the thing, right? There's 2 Rift Heralds now. That's gonna be fun, but I mainly know about the Sennas and the Dragon changes, because those were the 2 big ones. But multiple Rift Heralds is definitely gonna be fun to see, because that means that one can be used for turret plates and then the other can be used for like cracking down a tier 2 turret or setting up.
Right. Yeah, and the other thing, I haven't seen an Elder Drake just yet. I've played 2 games today, and both times there were early FF, so I didn't get to see that. As we do get confirmation that you can only get the second Rift Herald if you do it before the 20-minute mark. I can't quite remember what the delay is between the 2 rifts spawning, probably about 5 minutes. But Judgment coming through, Purple Wizard here looking to turn this one around. Level 6, Call of the Forge God.
Oh,
and here we go, coming through. Purple Wizard's only level 4 though, so BL, there we go! Demacian Justice comes, Demacian Judgment comes through.
Oh,
and the first kill of the game going over to BL.
Yeah, and just insanely well played. As perceived fight already here, but
another hook lands in, Natasha will fall, and now they will look for Salt's sorry, I can't pronounce that. As a Juggernaut gets poked down quite low. Kreiner is here. Juggernaut will be forced back off, but he's going to keep on looking to fish for those hooks as the minion wave does get whittled down, and I thought Juggernaut might have a little look there.
Yeah, we definitely see a lot of aggression for these 2 teams. Like, they're not waiting for 6 like they usually are. They're definitely making sure they can try and get that lead. And that was actually pretty sad up in the top side, because Renegade was that low and Gela still had full HP, so Purple Wizard can't really do anything as an early game Kha'Zix. So that was just like really ambitious, and that was why that happened. Meanwhile in bot lane, it's just that there was some face checking there by some really squishy carries with no flashes, and that gets punished very fast.
Yeah, in the top lane, Purple Wizard was saying, "It's fine, don't worry, you can go, I'm coming." He's only level 4, Garen's level 6, and that did not end well. Purple Wizard barely doing any damage at all there. As Scatter of the Week comes through. There we go with the ultimate unleashed power. Heal comes through from a thrower with that ult empowered focused resolve, and it will keep a thrower alive.
Meanwhile, this is gonna be the spot, jungle versus jungle. What's gonna happen? Who's gonna get that scuttle crab? It's not level 2, but you know, still really important objective, as Kreiner is getting it.
I know we'll get it, but Juggernaut, inches away from landing the rocket grab. Very close, but Kreiner will be able to stay alive. Now, Uzi does have a bit of a CS lead, which is exactly what this Syndra would want against a Karma, you know, very early game orientated, and this is fantastic for Uzi.
Yeah, especially given that we also just see the Karma in that 1v1 before, just surviving so much.
Oh, Juggernaut finds a hook, flash away. And the CC will not be able to land. Juggernaut gets taken down low and forced to flash out under turret.
Yeah, and that's just classic. Like, the Blitzcrank sees a hook, goes for a hook. We all know that syndrome where you know you can hit something and therefore you do it without really realizing. This could end badly.
Leap strike away from the solar flare as the Mountain Drake will be getting started up 9 minutes in, and this is going to be the first Drake of the game. Don't forget that the way Drakes now work is each team can get a maximum of 4 Drakes. Well, one team can get 4 Drakes, and once the 4 Drakes has been achieved, the Elder Drake will then spawn and will give a buff based on which Drake has been taken the most. Focus Resolve will land, will find the CC, but Flag and Drag, good flash from Uzi, but the Cataclysm will come down. Uzi nowhere to go, and Natasha seals the deal with the ultimate.
Yeah, and that was just incredibly well roamed, but Uzi also, all of his vision was just cleared out on the bot side, and he was just thinking he was very safe, but he was just nowhere near safe enough to deal with that, as Kreiner is getting spotted here, might just find Purple Wizard, but he doesn't have much mana. So it should just go over to Purple Wizard, but we might have a fight here with the Neo Bush already here. Seeing the red ward already been used here, trying to see if that's gonna be
no smite available. Flag and Drag comes in, and here's BL as well. Call of the Forge God will find the double knock-up as the Flame Breath comes through. Kreiner low, leap over the wall. Kreiner getting taken low, flashes forward, he finds a kill. Now they can look towards BL, trying to turn this around. Judgment coming through, a lot of damage, and there's the ultimate. BL finds the return and kill. Throwguard now joining the fight. They find the silence onto Renegade, looking to turn this around, and they will get the double kill as in the bot lane. Rocky grab, lads. Look at the damage. Lunsen finds the kill, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is why you do not blind pick a Senna.
Yeah, even though it was the Caitlyn getting called out, because Caitlyn may also just be a little tad too aggressive in this game, but definitely, like, we do just see this bot lane just being kept hooked over and over again because of the amazing hooks coming in. Meanwhile, we see Kaina and Renegade not quite having the synergy going in against Garen Jarvan here. Like, Kaina is almost dead here. Purple Wizard going for it. We see Biel flashing in, and then Purple Wizard has to go in there. He thinks, okay, there's no more. Maybe we can just trade for Biel here as well. But no, Beauregard is already on his way. He was there all the way the time you could see a base. Meanwhile, we see the Hex Flash going in. The root not going instantaneously to stop it, because it's a delayed root. So therefore, Natasha simply can't.
Oh, Uzi finds the kill, yeah. Solo kill on to throw a guard. And so currently the story of this game is mid and bot for Ikast-Brande against, well, Biel on this Garen.
Yeah. But also just, this is probably one of the most important things for this game. We need that morale.
As we'll get a replay of what actually happened here.
Okay, so the first two misses. Beauregard goes in.
Ah.
Oh, and that's just amazing. Uzimat just holding it, and then last Q just perfect.
Yeah. Fantastically well played from Uzimat. Throguard getting aggressive with that focus resolve, but Uzimat said, I've got a CC of my own. And
not even needing an ult.
It doesn't even need it, no. Pure disrespect from Uzi.
I mean, it's a useless ability, right? That's not what Syndra uses at all, ever, to kill somebody, never.
I believe there was some commotion before, something about Uzi not getting picked on, like, the tier list. Well, he's trying to turn that around here, as Kriner comes in. Here we go. Hextech, Hextech? What am I talking about? Center ult comes through. Juggernaut will get taken down as the CC lands onto Lunson. They can't get the trap down in time. Ace in the hole will take Lunson very low indeed, but it is just 1 kill for 0 as Biel, super aggressive on the toe, will get knocked up. Call of the Forge God comes in. Renegade might look to turn this around, won't completely dive in, and it will just be a trade of health bars.
Yeah, and definitely some very close calls on both sides of the map, and it's just this continuing trading. Every time you see a jungler there, you know that something's gonna happen. Whether it's gonna fail or not, that's not the point. It's whether or not there's gonna be a fight, and you know damn well there's going to be a
throw a guard.
Uzi mad, no flash there, but I'm sure with that ult up, you don't want to see him with it.
And some big discrepancies across the map right now. Biel very far ahead of Renegade, but in the mid and in the mid lane, Uzi Mad so far ahead of Throguard as Salt. Can you pronounce that for me, Nicholas? So I actually know how to pronounce it.
So who?
Caitlyn.
So I would just say hi, I'm Salt. Yeah, honestly,
I'll just call him Salt then, right? Yeah. That works perfectly, right? So Salt has a little bit of a CS lead over Lunson, who has just closed that back up. However, 14 minutes in, and as we mentioned, we've got the new layouts. Oh, Rocket Grab will not be able to find its mark, and Juggernaut will have to back out. That's a lot of damage onto Lunson with the Piltover Peacemaker. However, Uzi is here as well, as it's going to be the 5-man coming in from Sørby Solitude, looking to pick up this Ocean Drake. They've already got a mountain. Wait.
And we should also get to see the new area change with Air Drake coming up here, so the wind will quicken, because that's going to be the 3rd Drake, and that's what decides what kind of elemental rift thing it's going to be. As first Rift Herald is being started here to get Ikast something in return.
15 minutes in, and Shelly will be getting picked up.
Even picked up that Serrated Dog. Might be going for Yomu's Ghostblade. I believe that's still in the game, right?
Yes, I believe so. But look how much damage onto Juggernaut there, as the hook, probably a good thing that didn't land. Flash, Flag and Drag comes in, flash away from Juggernaut. There comes the ultimate Kriner, looking to take her down, and he will get the kill. Goes over to Biel, who picks up a 2nd as well. This Garen is big, to say the least.
Yeah, and you can leave a man behind, but Purple Wizard didn't quite get the memo, as Garen is still OP.
Yes, A 5-0, as you mentioned, Triforce completed. I'm surprised he hasn't gone for the Phantom Dancer. Flash under turret. He picks up the kill. Renegade falls as well. Sørby Solitude are huge right now. 9 kills to 4 on the inner turret will fall. Juggernaut. Why am I saying Juggernaut? Juggernaut respawns and can't quite find the hook as we take a replay at this Rift Terror fight.
Yeah, and just you can't flash twice, you know that.
Yeah. I mean, technically you can with a Hex Flash, and, well, that's the Kha'Zix.
Yeah, but not that quickly.
Not that quickly, no.
But
the damage is
Ikast is currently being put into a big corner. They don't really seem to get the picks off, and this Garen is just really big, really delivering on that AoE that their team would otherwise lack.
Yeah, and there we go. We can see Juggernaut getting that movement speed buff from the Cloud Drake map changes.
I mean, in a way, I would still say this kind of favors Ikast with the movement speed, because that would give them bigger hook opportunities as well as just Kha'Zix roams. But at the same time, if it comes to map play where they can do split pushing, then suddenly this Cloud Drake is going to be especially valuable for Sørby to close out the game quicker.
Nicholas, I've just noticed something, right? And, you know, if Raito are listening, please take this into account. With the new Drake changes, we no longer see what Drakes have been picked up on the top of the screen.
Isn't that fun?
Yeah, so so we actually have to remember what Drakes have been picked up. And I know there was a Mountain Drake first. I can't remember who got that, but the Cloud Drake was picked up by Sørby Solitude. That much I know. So, yeah, great to see Riot really helping out their casters from time to time.
Yeah, and as some of you might have noticed, we also see a new item on this Garen here. And as somebody who is very proficient in the new items, should just quickly do a rundown of what we have here.
I'm just going to call you out, Nicholas, right? Because you said Serrated Dirk, oh, is that going to be a Yomu's? And now you say you're proficient in items, but you didn't even know this Sanguine Blade.
Sanguine Blade is a great item, alright? It gives the lifesteal, it gives the 50 AD, it's 10 lethality, and also we have a pretty good active and Blood Pursuit.
So, is it a Yomu's Ghost Blade? Sorry, not Yomu's. Is it a Death Stance that gives lethality then?
Not really, because what it actually does is that when you're near enemy champions that are visible, and it has to, being while near one of fewer visible enemy champions, gain 8 lethality and up to 100% attack speed based on level, that's decaying over 3 seconds.
Okay. Great, another item for me to learn the name of and know what it does. Fantastic. Yeah. Right, here we go. Sørby Solid.
Basically, when you see that item, just think 1v1s, because that's what lethality items are good for.
Right. So, are we going to see the
that's a good Hex Flash in. We're finally seeing some collapse here. On horn?
Yeah. For some reason, every time I see Call of the Forge God, I want to say Hextech Ultimatum is just coming into mind. However, no kills coming through, as we do see Purple Wizard in the mid lane securing that outer turret for Ikast-Brande. As in the top lane, well, BL has a fairly free time, just CSing, pushing in the lane, and we talked about that 1v1 potential. I wouldn't be surprised if we see that Phantom Dancer coming through as well, or, you know, maybe even a Static Shiv.
Could definitely see some fun stuff here, but I'm still a bit surprised. Like, it gives the extra AoE that the team definitely needs, but it also, if you remember, they changed how much Static Shiv did this patch. So now it's just a very flat, strong burst. So the immediate burst of Static Shiv doesn't actually go up the longer into the game. So Static is a stronger early game item, but it's still as weak in late game, where it has usually been relegated to, because you usually build seal item as second or third, and on Caitlyn usually actually third. So seeing it here as first item just gives a pretty good early game spike, especially because you can proc it off towers.
So does that mean we're going to see ADCs pick up a static, and then when you get very late in the game, they'll sell the static to go for another Zeal item like a Phantom Dancer, per se?
Potentially, or maybe even seeing the new Storm Razor, as that was just reworked again.
Oh god. How have they reworked Storm Razor this time?
Do you want the long version or short version?
Well, we don't have any fighting right now, Nicholas, so give us the long version.
Alright, so it still has an energized thing, and it means that your energized attacks gain 120 bonus magic damage, and they slow still for 75%, but now it gives 55 AD, 25% crit, and 15% attack speed.
We're gonna hold that thought, because BL under turret! Oh!
Purple Wizard can pick it up, it's the shutdown.
Flash away from BL, can he actually regen the health? He's trying to run with a decisive strike, but he will get taken down! Shut down for Purple Wizard, and maybe Uzi is just a little less mad now.
Yeah, and we also see a rework coming in for Duskblade, but that hasn't stopped Purple Wizard in getting it. So they're basically taking the sweep out of Duskblade.
Oh, great.
I mean, now it's a less broken item. Have fun.
Oh, Juggernaut playing aggro. Can he find the hook? Oh, well sidestepped by Kreiner. Now, Baron is up, and, well, with BL being down for a little bit longer, I thought maybe Ikast would potentially look for a fight, but I guess after the hook didn't land, they decided against it. Purple Wizard might potentially get caught out, but he'll play it safe and head back towards his mid lane.
Yeah, and in case people were like, wait, well, how do I get it then? There is a new item that gives the old Duskblade passive, but the damage part is still only on Duskblade. And to compensate for losing this, they gave it an entire free lethality. Be grateful.
Oh, that hook! That hook!
Oh my.
So close. He tried to get the banana hook off, but alas, it didn't quite land. I'm not going to lie right now, Nicholas. I feel like after this game, we should have a 5-minute break where we can just... No, make it 10 minutes, where we can just discuss all of the changes that have happened to the rest. Or instead of instead of discussing, you can just tell me all of the changes, because I am only aware of a very few.
Oh, don't worry. Yeah, there's gonna be a few more after I'm done explaining it. Don't worry, I still don't know all the changes myself, so you're gonna be just as clueless.
I remember a coach telling me that, well, junglers are going to be having lots of fun now, trying to learn how to path again now that Grom gives you XP.
I mean, that's just every year.
That's fair enough. Right, however, BL is in the bottom lane. He has the TP available, and Sørby can start to look to clear up vision at Baron. They could look to start it as well, but they will decide against it for now, as BL just stays in that side lane and waits. Looks like he's going to go for the Sterak's Gauge as well. He has completed that Jorim's Fist. So we're not going to be seeing the Phantom Dancer build coming through. Much more Bruiser-oriented build here.
Yeah, and we definitely do have a lot of items that are pretty new. But we also see a lot of old faces. Like, one of the things that people have yet to like really realize in your solo queue games is that Senna likes getting that Fiend's Grell. A Fiend's Grell has one of the best synergies on Senna. So yeah, Duskblade is also really good on her. Don't take that away from her. But build the Fiends. Seriously, build it. Yomus is still a valuable item if you want it, but generally speaking, just building a Fiends and Duskblade in whatever order you want with those two, that's gonna be your core as Senna, and this is a more supportive version, and she's still gonna do tons of damage. That's not the thing. Now she's just gonna heal.
When you have such big AOE shields, you'd feel that Athene's is probably gonna be the way to go most of the time.
Yeah, and still has the 600 range to really make up for it with those big auto attacks.
Yeah. Those auto attacks are things of nightmares. Now we're going to be getting the Cloud Drake coming up soon, which I believe may be the 4th Drake for Sørby, because they picked up the previous Cloud Drake, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think we saw that happening, but I'm pretty sure they did.
Yeah, and there's definitely like been a lot more dragon action than we might be used to, because of the a lot more aggression to try and get these new buffs from the Drake. Yeah. And while we do see the Cloud now giving ultimate CDR, it's not actually that big, as we do see a teleport coming in here from
BL coming in from behind. Who does he look for? He's looking for Juggernaut. He goes in. There's the Justice. It finds the kill, as you mentioned. Ludson will get it out, but can the rest of Ikast get out? Because BL is chasing them down. The Judgment coming through once again as Natasha makes her way forward. We'll like, heal up BL just that little bit, and there we see the power of the Athenes. However, Sol potentially getting caught out, but is it actually Renegade as Wizard jumps forward? So much damage so quickly as the ultimate from Natasha won't quite be able to find the kill. Scatter of the week from Uzi Mad, just trying to buy a bit of time, but so will be Solitude pushing as a 5 in the bot lane. And now the siege onto the inhibitor turret begins.
BL gets caught.
Hook lands onto BL, and there comes the ultimate. Oh, Demacian Justice coming in. As you mentioned, who is stuck in with who? BL burns the stopwatch. Do they have the damage? Uzi gets taken down. The decisive strike is indeed decisive. As another rocket grab lands, but they just do not have the damage. Lunson gets taken down. BL under turret. BL will not find the kill. He doesn't survive. The kill will go over to Lunson, but does it quite matter because Sørby are collapsing in on the base, and it is only Juggernaut who is alive. Nexus turret 1 will fall. Now, Sørby Solitude, they look for Nexus turret 2. They will find the second Nexus turret. Now it's just a Nexus. It's open. 3 members have spawned from Ikast. That's a big static shock. There's the hook as well. They find the kill onto Natasha, but the base is collapsing, and Sol will seal the deal. First game goes over to Sørby Solitude.
And what a game that was. Like, that was insane, honestly. Just the absolute amount of dismantling that Sørby just did, it actually just looked very, very cruel. As there was just either a lack of adaptation or just a complete hardness of not having the synergy between Purple Wizard and Renegade with the Kha'Zix and Ornn. And maybe just not understanding the power of Garen. Just not being able to ever get something on the top side, and never really got Purple Wizard ahead. So this Kha'Zix was never really getting into the game.
Yeah, and that Garen pickup was so big. I mean, it's undoubtedly going to get banned into game 2, but another thing that I want to bring up personally is I feel the Blitzcrank pick was good into the Senna Caitlyn lane itself, but I don't feel like Ikast-Brande had the team comp to go around, looking for those picks with the Blitzcrank hook.
I definitely think that when you have Blitzcrank, you don't really need Kha'Zix to continue on with that. I think if you need to really get it more, then you need something that would synergize with the Blitzcrank more so than rival it. Because you never really want your Kha'Zix close to your Blitzcrank, because then Blitzcrank will usually still be very exposed when he lands his hook. So when Kha'Zix is close to him, he will take a lot of extra damage that will otherwise be very preventable.
On that note, though, I think we're going to head into a break, but we'll be right back with game 2 between Sørby Solitude and Ikast-Brande. Don't go anywhere. Good evening and welcome back to Serenity Gaming Division 2 Week 8. If you are just joining us, Sørby Solitude, they picked up Game 1 fairly comfortably against Ikast-Brande after an absolutely fantastic performance on the Garen from BL. So, Nick, we've got a bit of time. I want to kind of talk a little bit about that game, what we could see in the draft phase for Game 2, but also maybe a couple of rundowns on this patch.
Yeah, I definitely think that there's a lot of interesting things going on right now, and we already got to see one of the new mechanics being that Drake mechanic of just on the third Drake, when you're taking second Drake, the third Drake will then spawn a passive that will go through the map, and that has definitely changed the jungle position especially. Because depending on what Drake you get there, some junglers might have an insanely good time and some might have an absolute horrible time. Meaning RNG is finally coming to League of Legends in a viable way. We also see a few new items, including one that Garen picked up this game, being the Sanctuary Blade, which is a new dueling item specifically for people who want attack speed. Usually it doesn't do as well in teamfights because then it will go on cooldown. But if you're playing Rengar on top lane, that's gonna be your new go-to item. We have seen nerfs to some items or rebalancing even. Most notably, we've seen Duskblade of Drakvar losing its sweeping ability to give it to a different item called Umbrel Glaive, which is a nil value item costing only 2400 but not giving the best of stats. We will see in the future if that's going to be viable in jungle, but for now I would probably say that's more of a mid lane item for roams early on if really needed, but at the same time I don't think you should look for it in your own game until we've seen some more uses of it. It could just be a competitive item.
Yeah, I'm just kind of trying to look through all the items, like see what is new.
The last item that's really been important is Edge of Night. Edge of Night got really rebalanced, using only now 10 lethality, but instead of using that active shield before, it now has a passive spell shield. It works very much like Banshee's Veil now. It should be the almost exact same shield. Yes, spell shield is basically what it's called here. And the exact same passive, so you can't build both items. Yeah, I know that sucks because you always build both items on every character. But honest to God, we also saw ADC changes with Stormracer now being a crit item as well. Meaning that you can actually now viably build a Stormracer if you really want to, and something that isn't Kai'Sa. Lovely. And also Static Shift got a massive early game buff, now just flattening it out with 120 magic bonus damage per on the Energize, not scaling at all, just up to that. And just a little tip between you and me, it can now bounce up to 7 times.
Ooh, spicy.
Yeah, so...
you also mentioned in that last game with the changes to Duskblade, it no longer spots out units. However, you do have the new item Umbral Glaive, which does allow you to spot out those units. Right, with that said and done, let's just take a look at what we can expect to see heading into Game 2.
Yeah, I definitely think we can see some Garen bans thrown out. But except for that, I think that Ikast might be looking for something different. I think that the entire pick comp is very much reliant on the Blitzcrank in that scenario, and then they still wanted to put Purple Wizard in on that Kha'Zix. I don't think the synergy between those two champions is good enough to warrant, and I definitely think that they will either commit to the strategy by putting one pick potential over the other, or then they will just completely switch focus and put more emphasis on AoE, as that has been what they have had great success with early on in the split. Sørby is currently like challenging for that #1 position here.
Another thing, sorry, well, what was I going to say? We saw the Kai'Sa in Game 1 because Ikast-Brande, they won the bot lane pretty hard, but that Kai'Sa never really got snowballing. However, when we look to mid lane, Uzi was having a fantastic time on that Syndra. Should we see Ikast maybe focus their attentions towards the mid lane over the bot lane?
I think that Ikast has this wonderful idea of being able to carry through everyone. They usually just leave Requiem on an island, but given the chance he can just carry on Split Pusher, What I really want to see is that they commit to who's gonna carry. This game, it was, in my opinion, meant to be Lunson, but during the second part of the draft, they suddenly decided on a Kha'Zix, which to me didn't make as much sense, because that would put more of the carry potential over on Purple Wizard. But it would give them an early game advantage, but there was just nowhere on the map that he could really look for anything. So seeing something that would synergize more with his team, I would really love to, because while Lunson is a fantastic player and has really shown he can be a main carry for his team, I want to really have him adapted into the team comp, more so than just being a complete offspring, because we know how pop-off he can be.
Don't forget, these two teams are currently sitting at the top of the standings. Ikast-Brande were 7-0, Sørby Solitude at 6-1. If Ikast win, they guarantee themselves first place heading into playoffs. And if Sørby Solitude win, they guarantee themselves at least second place heading into playoffs. And then if both teams win, I believe that Sørby would take first place due to head-to-head results. However, we should be getting underway into picks and bans shortly. We've talked a lot about, the bot lane in specific, this Senna. Do you think, Nicholas, we will be seeing this Senna getting picked up again?
I definitely do think it's still a really strong champion. I think there's still a lot of people who haven't really gotten the experience about how strong she can be if you just itemize and build her up correctly. And with the more supportive style, with the Phoenix, she's suddenly a lot stronger. As we are getting into picks and bans, we do see the Garen being banned instantly, not wanting to deal with that again, and that's very understandable.
Yeah, the Garen will get banned. That Jax ban coming through as well. We saw that getting banned by Sørby Solitude in game 1. I can't quite remember who Ikast's first ban was, though.
I believe that last time it was...
Oh yeah, Nunu. Yeah, there we go. Yeah. It's the second ban this time. So everything else remaining pretty much the same.
I would imagine the Renekton as well, because that was their second ban last time.
Yeah, that Renekton did most certainly get banned out. Would be interesting to see if we see some focus on to Uzi's Yasuo again. The Nautilus does get banned away from Juggernaut, and, well, when your name has Juggernaut in it, I think you probably do want to ban away that Nautilus. We'll see if the Renekton ban comes through as well. But I want to talk about something that you brought up in game 1. Going back to Uzi's Yasuo. Yasuo Gragas is up, and Ikast can try to set up a team around, this Yasuo pick.
Yeah, definitely could, and I do think that that's been working out for them with multiple knockups, especially given that Renegade can play that on. We definitely have also seen him have a lot more success than he did in the last game before, and I do think that that was more so that Ikast drafting didn't go exactly the way they wanted, and Garen apparently being C-Wood OP with Sangren Blade. But we should just see with the Lee Sin here being banned off of Purple Wizard, they will just pick up something that's really safe and comfortable in the first, as the Caitlyn is locked in.
Yeah, Caitlyn once again was picked up by Salt in game 1. This time it is for Lunson. No ADC bans in the first ban phase, and the likes of the Kai'Sa, the Ezreal, and of course the Xayah all still available.
And Morgana. That's
and Morgana. The Kate Morgana and I guess the Kate Thresh power lane is still available. I'll have to see whether...
What about the Kate Senna lane?
I feel like now we can just say any support that... I mean, Kate Blitzcrank. There we go. We saw Juggernaut play in game 1.
Here goes Krynos Sejuani. I do love this pickup. This is one of Krynos' more comfortable junglers. And while I don't think that Krynos Jarvan is bad at all, I just think that his Sejuani is infinitely much better. He's way more of this tank player. And Jarvan, while he can definitely go to tank, that's one of his big strengths, that he's so reliable on having many different playstyles. The Sejuani is just a pure tank, so Krynos doesn't really have to optimize into warrior if his team falls behind. He is just a pure tank just from picking that Sejuani up.
Now, Nicholas, Sørby, they pick up the center, they bait out the Blitzcrank, but this time Ikast say, no, we're going to take the Zyra. Now, obviously, Zyra, I feel, is another champion that can abuse this center potentially in the earlier stages of the game as the Ornn gets locked in as well. But what's your thoughts on this bot lane matchup?
Now, I'm going to be completely honest, I haven't seen a Zyra in forever.
She did get buffed lately. I think it was 2-3 patches ago, and started to see a little bit of resurgence.
Yeah, definitely like more of a poke lane, and with the new support items, perhaps it's actually really strong. One of the things that really had Syra down was because she still had to use gold on support items, while she has a really good one item power spike when it comes to getting that Liandris or Rylas, depending on which style you're going. I would most likely tell you guys to go Liandris, because if the enemy has a tank, then Liandris is going to do a lot more than the Rylas, I can tell you that, as we are getting into second ban here with the Varus pickup as well. So very long range bot lane for Sørby again. Very similar to last time, but this time Ikast follows up with their own long range bot lane. So we are gonna see like some really hard overextends in case of dives, because else I don't really see anything happening pre-6.
And Ikast-Brande the Karma away from Thrower Guard. Somewhat surprising to me, but I want to go back to this bot lane because I think this is the first time I've casted a game in a very long time where Kai'Sa and Xayah have not been banned and neither of them have been picked up.
Yeah, and I do think that's largely contributed to how oppressive they were before versus how oppressive they are going to be after the changes to static shift. The static shift change, while not looking like the biggest on paper, is actually insanely huge when it comes to one thing, and that's early game. What Kai'Sa and Xayah had that was stronger than anything else was that 1 to 2 item power spike was so much further out than almost every other champion in the games except for Lucian and Draven, which had almost nothing to do, and Caitlyn and Ashe were close by, but they were more the long range utility champions instead of the actual carries. So seeing the new changes that just gives them the early power spike, can't just push them and can't just harass them to death. That's what we might be seeing now in preseason, as Mordekaiser is locked in top lane.
Yeah, so we saw BL playing that Garen, and he was oppressive. Now we're going to see Mordekaiser. You highlighted this when we were in the break, and we kind of talked about how the changes to the jungle might enable Nidalee.
Jesus.
And it has been locked in, and we're going to be seeing the Akali coming through from Uzi. We've talked about him a little bit, we've hyped him up. We saw him on the Syndra, but with this Akali, he can really pop off.
Yeah, I gotta admit, I'm a bit scared for Ikast, because now they've locked into 2 long-ranged carry AP champs, Assassin and the long-range ADC, and then a big boy tank Braum, on here. Meanwhile, we have a lot of lockdown for Sørby's side. Like, they've got a Mordekaiser ult to just completely take one person out of the fight. They have Lissandra, Varus, and Sejuani ult that just completely insta-delete somebody. As I hope Broguard and himself in here is trolling, and they will put the Varus in ADC. Please?
Yep. Nah, Lissandra, but I do like this Lissandra pickup into the aggression that this Akali is going to provide. The Glacial Tomb is going to be a fantastic way to disengage, and of course you've got that Sejuani as well, so if Uzi does overextend, there's a good potential to punish from the side of Sørby.
Yeah, and I really do think that Sørby's motto for this game is going to be level 6, because once they've got those ults up, you know there's going to be hell to pay. Varus ult, Lissandra ult, and Sejuani ult are all almost guaranteed kills, especially if it's happening in bot lane. So Lunson and Juggernaut needs to find something early with the help of Purple Wizard, or Purple Wizard needs to get on the map somehow by just straight up dealing with Kaina or Thrower Guard that early that Uzi Mad can just take over the game, help and make sure that Thrower Guard can't just take the advantage for himself.
Yeah. And I want to take a look at this jungle matchup once again, because when we look over to the side of Sørby Solitude, I feel like they've got some decent scaling, but early game, Purple Wizard will be able to do a little bit more because he already has that Cougar form available. Where do we really expect to be seeing him focusing his attention?
I really do think that Purple Wizard's best known style is deal with the enemy jungler. He is really good at tracking, he's really good at communicating, and most importantly, he's really good at skirmishing. Like, he is a 1v1 god, and he will let you know it. It's also what we've been seeing, especially with him just 1v1ing Jarvan players. Just them trying to abuse the fact that they have the really strong level 1 and 2. But Meanwhile, we have Purple Wizard here, who has multiple abilities and will just take all of it as there's an invade happening here. Lunson spotting it out.
Lunson will spot it out, and now Lunson will run as well after dropping a ward into the Tribush. Once again, the 5-man stack coming through from Sørby Solitude.
Yeah,
how do they want to play
be
this?
Scouting out.
I feel like this is more than just scouting out. You know, when you send 5 members in, you're no longer scouting. This is a full-on invasion here.
They're taking the Nidalee traps away.
Yes. They're also taking away the wards from Ikast-Brande as well.
Okay, you have to realize it's all about them traps.
Yes, all about the traps.
As a flavored member of the anime community, it's all about them traps.
Yes, for sure. Don't bring anime traps into this.
That bush as Renegade and Uzumad are collapsing here. This should give them a great advantage in the early game and could perhaps lead to a Purple Wizard and Renegade looking for Biella early game. Because if there's one thing you have to know about Mordekaiser as a jungler, it is you gank him before he hits level 6,
yes.
Not after.
Yeah, I would not recommend ganking a Mordekaiser post 6. What tends to happen is, well, you both die.
Yeah, I somehow still see that in my diamond games. How come?
Now, we saw Purple Wizard ganking BL post 6 when he was level 4 last game. That didn't end well. This time on the Mordekaiser, you definitely don't want to be doing that at all. Now, I want to go back to the scaling aspect of this game, because when we look at Sørby Solitude, obviously you've got the likes of the Sejuani, the Mordekaiser, the Varus as well, but this Senna, so much stacking potential. But let's give something over to the side of Ikast-Brande as well, because they've got the Ornn, and those empowered items can be really huge.
They definitely could, but I do think that Ornn is more of a gimmick champion, more so than he is just the strongest late game champion. While his massive amount of 1,000 gold for everyone in my team, that's great. Like, that's honestly great. But sadly, Ornn as a champion, while he provides a lot of crowd control and setting up his team, that doesn't really synergize with it. Like, Caitlyn's got traps, but they are really not guaranteed. Meanwhile, we have Syra, who has 1 root. Purple Wizard has nothing, and Kali, her root got removed, so there's not really a lot of crowd control to synergize with the Ornn. So the late game would be almost entirely in Sørby's favor, even though the Renegade might give the extra stats to its teammates.
Juggernaut having a bit of a hard time in the bot lane so far. A lot of poke coming through from those piercing arrows and, well, just Natasha's Senna in general. Purple Wizard takes the Gromp. Now with that extra XP, which we thought would see jungler starting on that blue side a lot earlier and not going towards those Krugs, which indeed we have seen from Kriner, but Purple Wizard going with a more traditional path.
Yeah, and as you can probably see on the minimap, we can already see a Raptor game about to spawn. That is simply because the Riot has finally, for some people, and make the noob change.
The root comes through onto Natasha and Stolber, so much damage onto Juggernaut. Lunson looking to turn this around, autos attacks a minion onto the trap, and that's gonna be first blood going over to Lunson.
What a root from Syra as well there, just setting that up. Just amazing play there, as there was a bit of overextend for Sørby, thinking they could just get Juggernaut down.
However, that being said, Sørby Solitude bot lane still has all summoners available, whereas Juggernaut has burned both of hers.
Yeah, and we also do see, of course, as I was talking about, the new timer added to the normal camps. You will recognize it from the buffs. It's a 20-second timer that is used as
Javelin toss did land.
Kinda in top lane. This will actually be a gank.
Now we talked about the gank. Oh, the Arctic Assault stops the dash. The Bellows Breath will do nothing. Kriner gets the kill to Renegade and evens out the kills 1-1.
Yeah, and there was no sound used by Biella and Kriner there, so that's just Renegade being far too aggressive there, being pulled in by Mordekaiser, not being able to sidestep it, and not flashing out of it, and then just immediately punished.
I hate to say this, but I think we might have our MVP of this series already, and that will be going over to BL if he can continue his form from game 1 as a piercing arrow. So much damage onto Juggernaut.
Has been doing his pulls, alright? He's really trying, and he has been killing his ADC a fair few times with those pulls, alright? Have to give him that respect.
right? As Ocean Drake does mean... Wait, for some reason I thought Ocean Drake means that we get that new brush, but that's already there. Javelin toss will land, and now they look for Kreiner. Too far away for the pounce as Uzi steps forward with the 5-point strike. As the next javelin misses, but they'll find the CC under and Natasha falls to flash away. Lundson can't quite get in range with the flashes. Javelin toss will land onto Sol instead.
Yeah, and I understand what you mean, but no, this is just a new brush that's completely added to that blue side of Sol. The Ocean Drake will still give like a lot more bush. Like you will especially see right next to the Ocean Drake here, where Zyra is currently standing, Caitlyn currently standing. There will be a brush there, but generally speaking, what you're really gonna see is all of these honey fruits now spawning on the other side of Baron and Dragon Pit, which is gonna be really interesting for the junglers. Just now that you can play almost anything, or like not even going a jungle item because hey, I've got honey fruit. Shaker players are gonna love that. Rengar players are gonna love that, to be fair.
Fair enough. As can't quite land the CC, and Salt finds a piercing arrow, and this is just a battle of poke. It's just when Juggernaut goes forward, does he land a CC or does he get poked out first in the spot lane?
Yeah, and we do see Purple Wizard on the bot side, level 5. Could just be looking for a gank.
Yeah, Purple Wizard on his Krugs right now as Piercing Arrow will find Lunson. So much damage coming through, and it looks like Salt will be going for potentially the Essence Reaver first or the Lethality with the Dusk Blade. And either of those are, I guess, somewhat viable. Actually, wait. I don't know what I'm saying.
Infinity Edge.
Infinity Edge. Wait, no, it wouldn't be Infinity Edge from 2 longswords.
Infinity Edge is great. What are you talking about?
No, but he's already built 2 longswords. There you go. It's a build water cutlass. Blade of the Ruin King. There we go. I'm talking about Salt's build path.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Lunson's build.
No. Yeah. I was looking at the longswords and wondering whether we were going to see Lethality Varus for a second. But obviously it builds into Blade of the Ruin King.
Yeah.
Never mind.
But definitely, we could even see a Storm Razor coming out from Caitlyn. That would be interesting to see if that's gonna work. But yeah, I don't think it's gonna be a Gunblade from Salt, to be quite honest. I think the Borg makes a lot more sense.
Gunblade? Who said Gunblade?
I mean, there's a Ben's Water Cutlass, right? Oh
okay,
my
oh
God.
wow. Purple gets deleted. BL just sitting in the brush, a pure assassin style, and he will take down Purple Wizard, who would have coincidentally have had to be a wizard to have got out of that one.
Yeah, rank isn't everything, but sure as hell we see Sørby, despite not looking as the most impressive team on their OPs, are completely taking it to Ikast here, who should on paper with their 7-0 streak be the favorites, as they're just dismantling.
Call off the Forge God coming in. Oh, and it gets a miss. Grasping Roots won't find his mark onto BL, but Uzi making his way over Arctic Assault from Kreiner. BL is being left to his own devices. Will be able to get out, though all's well that ends well. However, now Kreiner is in a bit of a tough spot. Flashes over the wall, but he flashes into Purple Wizard. Will be able to get out as Javelin Toss doesn't quite connect with BL. Now, there are 3 members in the top lane, but Ikast will not look for the collapse.
Yeah, that was a tough one. Definitely is getting a lot closer, and there's a lot more collapsing currently. And we could definitely be seeing some of the kills really soon coming in, because if we don't see Ikast doing something soon, I'm honestly feeling
Purple Wizard. Them. Purple Wizard no longer has a jungle right now, as he's going to get hit by the Obliterate. And when I say he no longer has a jungle, his blue buff got stolen from him, so he thought, oh, I'll try to steal some of the enemy's buffs. No. Get out of Sorby's jungle. You do not belong there, say. says Kreiner. Now, Uzi, though, looking for the collapse onto Kreiner, looking to pay something back. Purple Wizard is here, but it is a 3v2 because Renegade coming in. Searing Charge is not going to be able to find the knockup. So the Arctic Assault will take Kreiner to safety now. BL looking to turn this onto Renegade. That's going to be the Obliterate coming through. Indestructible as well. Flash away from Uzi Mad, who's looking to go in. Flash in, perfect execution. Purple Wizard will take the kill.
Yeah, and that would definitely do Hunica proud, as we do say Akali always OP. Don't matter what time, what changes. Don't matter if they even remove everything from that kid, she's still OP, as we all know.
I'm sorry, if we're talking about Hunica, we can only talk about Kennen.
No, he loves to say Akali's OP, man.
Yes, that's true, but...
And yeah, it is true, Akali OP. Heard it from
here we go, Collapse coming through in the mid lane as the Glacial Path, the TP coming in, but there is the Frozen Tomb. The shield will come in from Natasha. Now BL looking to turn this around in the realm of death. Uzi Mad getting taken down low, but 5-point strike will buy some time. Uzi Mad under turret, but there will come the Glacial Prison. Not quite enough damage to find the kill, and now this will be Sørby. They're going to drop the rift. They'll drop the rift, and now they will look for the Mountain Drake. Infernal.
You can now just drop it.
Oh, that's a nice change.
Yeah.
Coincidentally, TP is coming in, but BL steps onto a trap, gets taken down to about half HP as the Infernal has now been started. Sky's Bloom popped. Renegade looking to go in aggressively. Here comes the collapse. Call of the Forge God coming in. Will find the knockup onto BL. They find the kill. Renegade picks that one up. Piercing out just shy of Kreiner. And now this is going to be Ikast-Brande. They will take the Infernal Drake. Kreiner still low, and they can look for the push in the mid lane.
Rise.
Oh, look at that. Beautiful stuff.
Yeah. Sad, no Camille or Kane. But this will actually still be a net neutral change, even though we do... Oh my...
Lunson with a solo kill. Hopefully we can get a replay of that.
Juggernaut was there.
Okay. Right, let's take a look at this then.
Yeah. As we see it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, gets a slow plant off.
Yeah, the flash was just zoning, and Lunson picks up the kill with the ace in the hole. Forces a flash as well from Salt, who also burns, who also has lost his CP, TP'd and flashed in for the Drake fight. My apologies there. Now, we talked about the Storm Razor. Lunson has picked that up, and, well, Salt yet to complete that Blade of the Rune King, 0 and 2 at the minute.
Yeah, and I definitely think Storm Razor is still like becomes really strong item, because not only can you build it first because of the crit, but it also just really well synergizes because you get that slow off and early crowd control. That's insane. Like building a crowd control ability is just an insane kind of stat that you wouldn't be able to get otherwise. And true, like we still see Ashwood also just build it on a passive, but having it as well as like some bonus damage, and Caitlyn has the potential to do a lot of bonus damage with those traps and crits. We can really just see Caitlyn just doing some absolute bonkers damage just from out of nowhere because of a bit of luck.
So with the new changes to the Energize, what's it called, Curtis Shard and Storm Razor, maybe we're back into the meta where we're just going to see Storm Razors getting picked up as first items, practically everyone. No.
Caitlyn was definitely one of the winners of the preseason, really getting buffed to her, and she was already pretty good as was.
Yeah, lots of Caitlyn should be fantastic fun. 5 kills to 2 at the minute between in favor of Ikast. As here we go, Mad going in. Glacial Path will come out. Throw gets taken down very low. Uzi, he had...
Uzi used ult.
I was going to say, he had the ult available, but decides against it. Yeah. Oh, there's a Chains of Corruption. Landing the stopwatch will come through from Lunson, but it doesn't matter because here comes Kreiner. Glacial Prison will land, but the TP coming in as well. Ace in the hole will get tanked up by Kreiner, as you mentioned. Call of the Forge God finds the knock-up onto Natasha. But look at this, Uzi Mad looking to make his way in, but he will get spotted out by wards as Sørby Solitude will just back off. First turret of the game, though, will be going over to Ikast-Brande, and more specifically to Lunson.
And this is a map place that Ikast is known for. It's so well set up and it's so well executed. It's just sad they don't get anything more for it. But just the absolute immediate response, setting up the waves perfectly so they can actually do it. That's just so well communicated by Ikast.
Fantastically done by them. Almost got a 4K goal lead. In this game, looking somewhat different to a game one where Sørby Solitude had that massive advantage in the top lane. But once again, Lunsen and Juggernaut coming out on top in this bot lane.
Yes, and we do have a lot of absolute amazing plays coming out, and with the new mountain terrain, I'm interested to see what people can actually do with it, because as you can see here, it's some really weird placements, I would say. Like,
it's like Riot, where they decided we need to add some rock somewhere, and they like literally just drop down their fingers on the map, and they were like, let's put it here. There's no rock here at the minute.
Listen, the junglers have been way too good to adapt in the past. We really need to make a curveball here and really put them on the spot. So let's just completely make it RNG about if you can win the game or not.
Actually, stay there for a second, Joe, because I think it would have been cool is if what they did with the changes is if they just blocked off that entire path. So instead of just so instead of randomly adding like blocks in places, you cut off certain paths and you open up other paths. So to go from red to Crux, you've got to go all the way around, and then there can be other bits where you just completely open up access. So you could have it such that if you are on blue side to get towards the Baron. Oh wow, thank you for that, Joe. Thank you for that. Yes, that's exactly what I wanted to see. Also, if you go down a bit, so below Rift Herald, there we go. You could cut off one of those two gaps to get into the Rift Herald. And I think that, I mean, it would have added...
just block off the entire river.
Look,
just
at least...
level the water level, so you can't go into river anymore. That's the way mountains should work.
Yeah, so at least Mountain Drake would have some personality instead of like, here we go, here's a random piece of rock on the map. Also, as you mentioned... Oh, here we go. Lunsen getting taken down as Chains of Corruption land. No way out for Lunsen. He will get deleted. The kill goes over to Natasha as a Mountain Drake has been started up by Ikast-Brande, and it will be getting secured. No way for Sørby to contest this.
Yeah, and I definitely think that if they really need to screw the junglers, they should have done it in a way that wasn't as RNG and just said, let's just delete jungle entirely from the game. Remove jungle items, remove smite, and then also just nerf everything to do 200% less damage to monsters.
Okay, this is very aggressive because it's a 4v5. Bullet the Vortigord comes in. They will be able to take down BL straight up. Now it's a 4v4. Uzi Mad playing so aggro. Kryner gets taken down quite low, but the Javelin toss will land. Purple Wizard flashing forward. But there comes the Blade of the Ruin King. Purple Wizard will heal up. Another Javelin toss will land. Kryner forced to flash away. And somehow nobody dies from the side of Ikast-Brande. They just find that kill onto BL and make it overall a 1-for-1 trade, as well as picking up the Mountain Drake. Although Sørby Solitude did get that Rift Herald.
Yeah, Frogar's definitely gonna be using that one. Really getting some towers out. Now Sørby can finally get that gold lead just slightly into the favor, because they should theoretically still have the better late game with all of their massive amount of press the R button to win the game kind of mechanics.
The grasping roots landing perfectly onto BL, and then all the focus came down, and I don't know how Sørby did not have the damage to take anyone out here.
I mean, usually it still had to do with Natasha not really doing anything for our guard as well. Like they could never get in range, they're just sitting just outside of it, just like kind of looking at, trying to get away. Meanwhile, we just see Salt and kind of still being in the fight, and they can still try and chase. So Frogard and Natasha here then had to make a decision. Alright, are we gonna re-engage? Are we gonna just run for it? And they can't really do either, so they're just stuck there in the middle, just saying, okay, we're gonna threaten, so we can hit with all 4 people if they overextend, and then we can get all 4 out if we just look scary and intimidating enough.
Now, I want to take a look at itemization here as well, Nicholas, because everyone has completed their items, with the exception of the Senna. Natasha not yet completed the Athene's Unholy Grail.
Got the Chalice though, so not a bad start. As we do see Retro popped in mid lane.
Yeah. If one Shelly charge wasn't enough to take...
down.
Yeah, as you mentioned, that's one ult down. The Frozen Path out as Juggernaut will use his. The CC will land as... So, I'm used to seeing one Shelly turret take down a turret to half HP. Seems that a second Shelly turret will take down a turret to 100 HP.
Listen, boy. We need some more Shellys.
Yeah,
But no,
right. If
seriously,
you're
there's no
listening,
more shells
2
in the
wasn't
game.
enough. We want 5. Actually, no, give us 3 so we can use one in every lane. There we go.
Yeah. So far, it seems like Baron has spawned. I'm not
Wait.
mistaken.
Oh yeah, we're 20 minutes in. Come on, Nick. Look at the timer. Look at the time. I know it's
you were
been
the one
fun.
baiting me with 2 heralds. As we
Oh.
do see one all come in here.
And the land of Glacial
And
Prison,
another
and the
one.
Pro Glacial Tomb will land as
another
well.
one.
Kreiner takes the turret shot. Kreiner will get taken down. Thrower will fall as well. As Call of the Forge God can't quite land onto Sol, as Ace in the Hole will whittle him down.
Oh.
But it is a 3v1
Yeah,
in the
clown.
river, as flash away from BL, as he can't quite find the Death's Grasp.
Oh,
Javelin
no,
toss
no,
will
no.
go through BL. And, well, it's still a 3v3, but it's a 1v3 for BL right now. Purple Wizard
juking.
trying to throw out the auto attacks. Juggernaut will get taken down as Purple Wizard gets taken down very low, but BL will finally fall as Uzi in the top lane, just pushing freely, should get this inner turret very low.
Assassinating the turret, it will never see it coming. Remember how when the Shroud used to just make sure the turret couldn't see you? Yeah.
I love
really
that.
taking
That was-
advantage of that.
Oh, that used to be a fun time.
Oh yeah, definitely. Let's just have another meta where Akali is just completely invisible. I love that.
Yes. Fantastic, as take a
That
look
was
at
back
a
when she was
Renegade
actually
making his
balanced,
way
by the
to
way.
the bot side. Oh yes, so balanced. Now we're going to take a look at this replay of the fight, starting off with that flash from BL.
Yeah, and watch Purple Wizard. He gets put into the Shadow Realm here and then just... Nope. Let me just juke. And Juggernaut and Renegade can't really chase by themselves. Meanwhile, Purple Wizard just... Oh, wait. Juggernaut, you're sitting a bit too close there, my friend. And Purple Wizard has to just get in there and get that pickup.
I thought that Death's Grasp obliterate right at the very end might have taken Purple Wizard down, but wasn't quite enough from BL. He's not quite fed enough. He has just completed that that Morellonomicon. I can't say it with my second go. That's the one. Why are you making it sound like it's an Italian item right now?
Because
Oh, Glacial Prison will land. Here we go, the fight coming in. Uzi on the way, but it's a 5v4 for now. As the Zyra ultimate finds 2BL getting taken down very low. Call of the Forge God will land. BL will fall. Lunson picking up the kill. Uzi mad with the perfect execution. Don't quite know what he's going for. Just trying to close the gap as quickly as possible. Looking to find a pick onto Sol as Glacial path to safety thrower. Uzi's going to have to back off. He can't 1v4 this one as the third Mountain Drake, I'm not sure. At least the second Mountain Drake gets taken. Senna Ultimate can't quite steal that one.
Yeah, and that should really be called a curtain call because that was about to end there.
I would like to inform you what Senna's actual ult's called, but I'm not aware. Let's just see how close it was, because he got very low. Oh, 46!
And you never even saw the projectile hit the dragon before it came in.
Oh,
Purple
Natasha.
Wizard.
Who is catching out who here? Because Uzi is close by, but it's getting collapsed on now by Thrower.
Yeah.
Uzi, though, he's got a lot of...
as being the one collapsed on here by Uzi.
However, BL joins the fight now, looking for Purple Wizard once
Purple
again.
Wizard might have
Realm
to
of the
jump
Death.
out.
Realm of Death, a flash away from Purple Wizard. Will jump back over the wall, but jumps right back into Kreiner. He does have Uzi there for some moral support.
And that's Baron.
Yeah, that is going to be Baron secure, but the Death Grasp comes in, and it's Baron at what cost? Well, it's a Baron with a kill, and it's a 1-for-1 as BL finds a kill on Uzi, but Purple found the kill onto Salt.
Yeah, and even with Purple Wizard being not as dominant as he usually is, he's still putting an amazing performance on this, just juking out Mordekaiser left and right and center, and just perfect synergy in this bot lane. Having Juggernaut as well, just keep on synergizing, just making incredible play.
Now, Nicholas, I know I flamed Riot earlier for, they're not putting up the, what Drakes have been taken, but I was gonna check, is that thing right has added, or has Joe added that? But Joe's added that. Joe, that is absolutely beautiful.
Oh, finally.
Yeah, we can see who has Baron. Right, now we just need
now we
to,
just needed a Dragon Tally.
Joe, add up the dragons now. Go on, get on with it.
Yeah, Dragon Tally this time around.
Right. I remember seeing something when I was looking at the video patch notes. There it is. See, it shows you the drakes that each champion has like around them. So see, they've got 3 mountain drakes. But I couldn't see it before, so I'm not sure like why it's coming up now, but it wasn't coming up previously. And I think it's because Elder's up next, but I'm not sure. So I think that's saying that when they get the Elder Drake, it will be a mountain buff. Okay. Right, okay, but here we go. Chains of Corruption will land. They're looking for the fight under the mid lane in a turret. Call of the Forge God will not get knocked back. Look at Uzi though. He's looking to go in. Can he find the damage onto Sol? Not quite, as that's going to be the Zyra ultimate landing. They find the kill onto BL. Uzi mad, dashing back out, but so low are the members of Sørby right now. Still 5 members pushing from Ikast-Brande. As can they find the damage? Piltover Peacemaker will take Shriner down a little bit, but he's a very, very tanky Sejuani. Glacial Path away, and Sørby Solitude will give up the inhibitor turret as well as the inhibitor.
Yeah, and this is just absolute great push comp, using that Zyra, using that Caitlyn to just and Purple Wizard as well as the poke. They have a triple poke comp, and then Uzimat has such a big kill threat, not even needing the electrocute plus the absolute megaton of damage with that gun, like just keeps on shredding. They just get 70% with almost Uzi alone, and then Lunson and Juggernaut just needs that last bit of poke, while Purple Wizard's just the leading front line.
Yeah, and you have to feel that the difference between this game and last game is just the top lane. BL not getting ahead, not being able to solo carry, and once again we're seeing Lunson and Juggernaut coming out on top, and this time though they're ahead enough, and there isn't a super fed Garen to stop them from carrying this game.
Yeah, this is definitely almost in the favor of the game 3, but we still have a bit of way to go, as there's still a tier 2 inner turrets here for top and bot lane on Sørby's side that I'm sure Ikast would like to break down before really getting that Nexus done.
Right, now Nicholas, I know I haven't picked your brains enough, but I want to do some more. Can you remind us of what the different Elder buffs are based on the elemental drakes you have most of?
No. But I do remember that Elder Dragon now, with its soul, can give you that little bit of execute, if you know what I mean.
Oh yes, of course.
Yes, Elder Dragon has now gotten a new laser beam that you technically can't do something about, but if enemies got a Leandris, or they've got a poison ability, I mean, Sonya's ain't gonna do much.
Yeah, as here we go. The inner turret gets taken down in the bottom lane. We don't know if we're going to be seeing that Elder Drake getting picked up because the base is getting taken down pretty low at the moment. Ikast-Brande, will they look for the inhibitor turret? Will they look for the end? Or will they give us a bit of showmanship and show us what really happens when you get an Elder Drake Mountain? Chains of Corruption missing there from Salt, but the Glacial Prison will not. Thrower going in, but the Call of the Forge God finds the double knock-up center. I'll come through, but is it quite enough? So much damage. Thrower gets taken down. Meanwhile, Uzi fighting with the BL Kreiner gets taken down super low. Uzi can't quite find the kill. Stopwatch comes through. Uzi getting burned down super low. Natasha will get taken down now. They can look for BL. Flash forward. Obliterate finds the kill. But while this is happening, Salt gets taken down. And that's going to be the Zonyas being burned from purple. They can look for BL, but they don't care. They're going to look for the turret. But if you're gonna grasp Purple Wizard, he will kill you, and he will take the kill onto BL. The Nexus will fall, and Ikast-Brande will take us to a game 3.
Yeah, what an amazing comeback here, getting into game 3, just going full in on this poke comp, just really trying to match what happened last time at bot lane instead of just committing to this pick comp, just proving again. Ikast is so proficient in well versed of comps and then having on top lane. But just generally speaking, these guys can just pick almost everything, including an on top lane. But no, Ikast just has the amazing potential, and they can really just pull almost anything off. And really just the synergy that these players can have and their absolute highs are just some of the best we've seen, and the consistency they prove just proves why they have been undefeated so far.
Yeah, Ikast-Brande, that is their third game loss of the season. The series is not over yet. We're going to be heading into a short break, and we'll be right back as Ikast-Brande look to find the reverse sweep and keep their clean run going.
Back in Sol.
Legends never die when the world is calling you. Can you hear them screaming out your name? Legends never die, they become a part of you. Every time you bleed for reaching greatness, relentless, you survive. They never lose hope when everything's cold and the fighting's near. It's deep in their bones, they'll ride into smoke when the fire is fierce. Oh, pick yourself up, 'cause legends never die when the world is calling you. Can you hear them screaming out your name? Legends never die, they become a part of you. Every time you bleed for reaching greatness, legends never die. They're written down in eternity, but you'll never see the price it costs. The scars collected all their lives. When everything's lost, they pick up their hearts and avenge defeat. Before it all starts, they suffer through harm just to touch a dream. Oh, pick yourself up, 'cause legends never die when the world is
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to a week 8 of Serenity Gaming Division 2. Sørby Solitude currently tied 1-1 against Ikast-Brande. Ikast-Brande already have secured their spot in playoff. Sørby Solitude, if they can win this game, not only will they secure their playoff spot, but they will also be most likely entering playoffs as the top seed.
Yeah, and so far we've seen like a pretty amazing series where we've seen Ikast really just adapt to what they had to, and they really just pulled off the last one. And we have been sitting here just wondering about the new meta, because what are we gonna see? And then we just see Caitlyn. Yep, she's the top pick. We already know that now. But just generally speaking, both teams just adapting very nicely as we are just like researching on these neutral objectives and items under every single rank we can get, and it's so fun. And so I, as a jungler, have to make my mandatory complaint.
We'll have to see, though, whether we can get an Elder Drake this game. It did spawn in the last game, but Ikast-Brande were a bit too focused on taking the Nexus to go for that Elder Drake. So maybe this game we'll get to see what happens when an Elder Drake, or dare I say, 2 Elder Drakes come up onto the Rift.
Yeah, and this is gonna be really fun to watch, especially because we have now seen new items really get the time to shine, new champions that has so far been very much out of the highlights, and we are really getting to see some really nice objective play and some things that you may not have expected before, and things that you might even have missed during the massive patch note changes. But we are so excited to bring you this, and we can't wait to see what these two teams are gonna put in.
However, we should be heading into picks and banners shortly. I think Hunica was on the Twitch chat saying that we are not going to be seeing a Garen this series. That is God. That ship has now sailed.
What?
However, as you mentioned, there's been a lot of Caitlyn priority, so I wonder if now we're going to be seeing what we used to see with the Kai'Sa, which is if you are not blue side, you ban out the Caitlyn, and then, well, I don't know who the second go-to ADC is now. Maybe it is Kai'Sa, or maybe you just pick jungle and just take a counter pick if you can.
Yeah, well, I'm really interested in seeing if we're gonna see some new jungle priority, because we've seen a lot of standard jungle priority for both jungles, like what they're used to playing. But with all of these jungle changes, I would assume in the very least we're gonna see some new priority on some jungles we haven't seen before. But I don't think any of the teams are just ready to prep for that yet, as we are getting closer to the champion select, and we might not see a Garen, but let's find out, shall we?
Yeah, I highly doubt if we see a Garen. Yep, there we go. It's already banned out, and there is the Jax as well. Now, I'm guessing we're going to be seeing the likes of the Nunu, the Renekton, and the Nautilus once again. They've been staples of the ban phase. And there is the Caitlyn. This time, though, Sørby are the ones who are banning her away. They are electing not to first pick the Caitlyn.
I do understand this one, because when they last picked it, they didn't actually have the greatest of success. What they actually won off was that Garen in the top lane, as well as kind of just really camping it out. So just removing it so Lunson doesn't have the chance to get it is a pretty good move by them.
Yeah. However, that does mean that they will be unable to ban out the Renekton if they do decide to ban away the Nautilus. So we've been seeing that Renekton banned away from Renegade, but it's going to be neither of them. Sørby Solitude showing some focus and respect to Purple Wizard, banning out that Needle.
It's been more banned away from Biela, you know, because that's where the ban comes in here.
I knew that the Renekton was a ban. I was trying to remember because there was no Nunu ban.
Now.
We can, and we know Nautilus pairs are very, very well with a Kai'Sa, and we'll have to see whether that duo will be coming through. But it is going to be the Karma flex pick right at the start from Sørby Solitude.
Yeah, I really don't like this, because Karma is
Karma hurts like a
She hurts to just look at. Because you know she's gonna do her little mantra thing, do her little religion speech, and then after that she's just gonna shield butt and poke for a long distance.
Yeah, as maybe if we see more Karma, we'll get Nicholas to give an entire speech on agnotism, can we say, and its benefits.
Why flex pick support ruined the game.
Like, so do you count Nautilus as a flex pick support and Senna?
Yes.
Okay. But, you know, Ikast-Brande, they don't need to flex pick. They're showing their cards. The Zyra comes in straight up, and it looks like it's going to
What
be
about
paired up
Rakan?
with the Zyra. Yeah, Rakan's trash right now. Does Rakan even lift, bruh?
I do like the Zyra pick just because of what we've been researching. One of the things that is really important to remember is that if you have Elder Dragon with Zyra, her plant is able to proc Elder Dragon.
Wait, oh yes. Wow. I mean, we talked about Teemo Shrooms proccing Elder, proccing the Execute, but Zyra might be even more abusive. Now, the Nautilus comes in, that's still a flex pick. We don't know where anything is going, and Thrower is just throwing us off by showing...
Kaiser, though.
Yeah, there's a Kaiser. So I'm guessing it's a Kaiser Nautilus bot lane for Sørby, and, well, Karma top or Karma mid. I'm going to guess Karma mid. We saw it in game 1 from Thrower.
Yeah, and it would still make sense to get Natasha that Nautilus, but I would still like to see some people try out some more Nautilus mid, because that is just something we are used to seeing now.
Now, Renegade hasn't played enough Ornn this series yet, so he's going to take Ornn, lock it in for the 3rd time. And with that Ornn getting locked in, maybe it will be BL playing this Karma, as it is very good into the Forge God himself.
I honestly think it's time to ban that on, because we haven't seen enough Jacks to really justify the ban, eh?
Yeah. As the Akali and the Nunu will get back in the second
I
phase.
really like the Nunu ban, because dragons now have a different priority, because you get that permanent dragon sword once you've got 4 dragons.
Cough, cough, Yasuo. You've got the knockup from the Zyra plant. You've got Call of the Forge God. I'm going to ignore what you said, Nicholas, because Yasuo, Gragas, they're both available. The Jarvan gets banned away as well. The final ban here for Sørby Solitude. Why would they ban Lissandra? Thrower played Lissandra the last game.
Uzimat is good at Lissandra, trust me.
But you said that he's good on Yasuo as well, Nicholas, dear.
Yeah, but Yasuo has a key.
Yes, exactly. That's why you pick Yasuo. But it's going to be Lee Sin ban. We saw that getting banned away in game 2. And Purple Wizard, his Needle banned, his Lee Sin's banned. I don't know if the Jax is focused at him or Renegade, but we'll have to see what he wants to pick up. You've still got the likes of the, pardon me. You've still got the likes of the Rek'Sai available. However, I know you've wanted to see this, the Camille and the Kayn, as indeed that Lissandra is picked up. You want a color cast for nothing, Nicholas.
You never listen to me.
I do. I'm just giving the viewers an alternative perspective.
Listen,
here.
that's the
dumb
on
perspective.
his main champion. This is what Crown got famous for. This is what Rookie got famous for as well.
Rookie?
Like,
Oh, yes.
he's a world champion, elites playing this champion, as we see the Mantheon in the top lane, hopefully.
No, that's a Mantheon jungle, I reckon.
Nah, because Mantheon jungle sucks. Sorry to bring it to you. Like, every time we've seen it, it absolutely disappoints. Sorry to say.
Right. I was trying to listen to what my producer had to say, but you didn't want to tell me. Now, the Shen's getting hovered, which works very well with the Mantheon and the Kaiser.
I'm going to say Ikast is going to win this one.
Just because you don't like Pantheon. Now, I'm just going to put this out there. Shen's a pretty good jungler as well at times. You know, you've got...
Milky, I think it's time to stop. As we are
I
seeing
play
Purple
Shen
Wizard
jungle, it
picking up
works.
that Echo, perhaps? Yes, it is. Let's go. This is an actual jungler.
So, Echo top and Ornn jungle, right?
Listen, buddy. You need to stop.
Don't call me buddy, friend. I wonder how many people in the chat actually get that one. I dropped that in a league voice.
Yeah, but this is gonna be Kaina and Pantheon. I have seen Kaina play Pantheon jungle before, but what Pantheon really lacks is consistency. While it definitely is really good with Kai'Sa, you really already have the Nautilus, so you don't need that extra engage. So that's why, while it makes sense in theory, it's just you already have one instant. Make sure to make that Kai'Sa can get into the backline. You don't need a second one. You can't really do much with it in late game because the champion doesn't do anything there, and you're almost reliant on the Kaiser to carry with this comp now, because Shen isn't gonna do damage, Pantheon is at most gonna be a Black Cleaver, else it's just Troll, and the Karma has to be AP to even put up a touch of damage here. I'm saying this is heavily favored to Ikast because they have a way better AoE, better late game scaling, as well as a jungler that actually has use in late game.
Now, I want to throw in the other side of the coin here. I want to kind of, give Sørby Solitude's kind of win condition. Because you've got a Karma, you've got a Pantheon. This is a lot of early game potential here for Sørby. So I think if they can find these kills, to get those kills onto Salt, to get Salt rolling, I think that they do have a good opportunity to win this game before, let's say, around that 25-minute mark.
I've gotta admit, this is the one game where I would have allowed to see a Blitzcrank jungle. Look at how many shielders on the side of the Shen shield, Karma shield, Kaiser shield, Nautilus shield.
Wait, why Blitzcrank? Surely you mean Renekton?
Renekton was banned.
Yeah, I know Renekton was banned, but like when you say shields, Renekton's the guy who doesn't care about shields.
But Blitzcrank breaks all of them, not just one.
What with his oh no, Renegade, you're in the wrong spot. The taunt lands, the hook lands as well.
And
first blood to the man,
blood.
the myth, the Kriner.
Listen here, buddy. You're on the wrong side of the 300 movie.
I'm just giving out my win conditions here. Now, Riot agrees with me. They like my analysis, and because of that, they're giving us a first Drake, an Infernal Drake. They want Sørby Solitude to get that snowball going.
Listen, it's actually possible now to get 4 of the same Drake.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Four Infernal Drakes, let's go.
And I might be wrong about this one. Please correct me in chat if I am. It could actually be possible to get 7 of the same Drake.
What, because the enemy side get 3 as well?
Yep.
Okay. Well,
I'm pretty sure that's
when
a
I get
fact
7
now.
of the same Drakes, I will make sure to screenshot it and send it to you. I remember the first ever time I was casting with Serenity Gaming, there were just tons and tons of Infernal Drakes, and I used to call SRG the League of Infernals. Maybe we'll be getting that coming through in this final match of the evening. Just to recap, this is the battle for the top spot in Division 2 as we head towards playoffs. Ikast-Brande looking to continue their unbeaten streak, or at least unbeaten in terms of series. Anyway.
Yeah. Really, it is kind of like Griffin streak or Immortal streak, where it's just, while they might lose in a single game or drop 1, they will never lose the series, therefore having the perfect score.
Yep. G2 can't quite say that just yet as Shadow Soul forward. Decent trade on to Renegade. Also, is it Renegade or Renegade?
Renegade.
Renegade. Okay, cool. I shall make sure to say that from now on. However, I'm looking towards this bot lane. Natasha. Can she find those pixies? The grasping roots won't be able to find their marks. And
Here comes
Natasha using the alcove. They're looking for Lunson. Oh, the dredge line doesn't land, but the void, the shield vault does. Lunson gets taken down low, and if Natasha just waited for that dredge line, that would have most certainly have been a kill.
Yeah, and definitely, like, we do see that one thing that Pantheon does do well in the jungle, because it's not an unusable pick, it's very abnormal for team setting. And that's because the way you play Pantheon jungle is as an early game jungler that's specifically paired with press the attack, because it can instantly prog it, and that means that if you have a Kaiser, that's like one of the best synergies in bot lane, making him probably the best champion to gank bot lane once Kaiser's in the game. However, what he really does lack is both the tank stats of a jungler, which would let him just buy a warrior and then still be able to tank. He makes kind of up with that in his E that's able to stop damage, but at the same time, he's gonna be lacking from any source that is coming from behind him as well as from the side, which there can be quite a lot of in most games that has that much AoE.
Also, just want to point out that it is not Ikast-Brande on the blue side. It is, yeah. I'm sorry, Joe. It's not often I get to call out my producers, so when I get the chance, I jump on them. There you go.
But listen, it's all to confuse them.
It's all fine because
Just
Joe
seeing
has
if
an
you're
amazing
awake, all right?
Baron.
As Kyna's going for another gang, as
Here we go.
Renegade once again overextended, something we've been way too familiar with in this series.
Shadow Assault in, they find the taunt Kreiner, flash forward into the Brush
I've seen
Renegade,
this
trying
one
to get
before,
out. Purple Wizard making his way, he can't find the CC in time, but he will get it off now, looking to find the return, a kill. BL, oh, he gets the shield, the key barrier comes in huge. Purple Wizard could have taken the kill, but he looked to BM, and look who is BM'd now.
What game are you watching? He just didn't want Kyna to take the kill.
Wait, what?
Kyna could easily have killed Purple Wizard there.
He had flash! But here we go,
so
Searing
what?
Charge,
Look at that.
finds a double knockup, but it doesn't matter. Purple Wizard has been taken down, Kreiner so low, but it doesn't matter. They will be able to get out. If only
did I
Purple
tell you?
Wizard had taken the kill when it was staring him in the face and when he had both members CC'd down. I do
Listen,
apologize.
buddy.
I apologize for my color caster. He has been taking something clearly. And, you know, things that you shouldn't take a kill when
Stay
it's right in front of
your
you.
support lane and let me deal about jungle, alright?
Yeah. Bad jungler.
But as we are seeing here, Kyna is very much ahead with this 3-0, really seeming to have a lot of impact so far.
Sorry.
However, it is still going to be outscaled, so let's see if he can try and get this Infernal Drake early to really get something going, or perhaps even getting the nearly 8-minute Rift Herald change. That means that you can really just snowball the game.
Yeah. I've got my finger to my ear at the minute, and I'm directing that at you, Nicholas, and Twitch chat. I'm not saying that I believed, but I did believe that Sørby Solitude, they had a way to win this series through the Manthian himself. Now, you highlighted the Rift Heralds, but the Infernal Drake is going to be the priority first. 6.5 minutes into the game, and it will not be contested, will be secured. However, Ikast-Brande, they don't want to give up just yet. Parallel Convergence finds 3, throw a guard very low, Kreiner goes in, Kreiner finds a kill, the Manthian is huge, Purple Wizard will get taken down, so will Natasha, it's a 3v3, BL will eventually fall, Assault gets taken down fairly low, however they can look for Thrower. Renegade pushing forward, can he find anything at all? Thrower should be able to get under turret, good sidestep, and Renegade will be forced to back off. Overall, it is a 2 kills for 2, I do believe, as let's take a quick look at the JFX replay.
3 for 1. Purple Wizard goes down, sad as it is, but for that Kreiner just picked up. Oh wait, never mind, it might have been a 3 for 2 actually.
Yeah, 3 for 2, there we go.
Yeah, sorry, I did not see the massive amount of damage Kreiner put down there onto the Zyra. It was just so instant, you know?
But 4-1 on Kreiner right now. He is big, but as I also mentioned, the win condition here for Sørby Solitude is not just getting this Manthian ahead. Also, they need to get these kills onto Salts, Kaiser, because that's when they can really, you know, get a little bit of strength in the mid game as well.
Yeah, and we're now seeing like a lot of early game coming in for Sørby, but they're still not that far ahead in terms of goal. So there's still a lot of ways to catch up here if you are Ikast. And they still do definitely like the position they're in, because they should in theory still have the better late game, because and Sørby's entire late game is still based around Salt being able to almost solo carry.
Yeah, and I think we're both in agreement. Once we do get to late game, you know, not just the picks themselves, but also this Ornn. Again, that scaling that you get from those bonus item stats is just going to be huge from Ikast-Brande. However, Ikast-Brande, they have to get to that late game stage first. Sørby Solitude, they're looking for the pick in the bot lane. Here we go.
But
Okay,
there's no
no.
section to Nord.
Not yet anyway, but Natasha's going to keep on looking, will be looking to fish for those dredge lines. Purple Wizard picks up the red buff, now looking towards top side. And won't hit the wall just yet, so he won't get spotted out. Can look for the gang onto BL. However, Kreiner does have the Grand Starfall available, so can turn that around, but he is in the bot side of the map at the minute, as we might be getting the 3-man dive in the bot lane soon.
Yeah, definitely is just preying on this bot lane so far.
Yeah, as with that said and done, Kreiner just going to pick up the Scuttle Crab in the bot side. A lot of focus on this bot lane from Sørby Solitude, as BL has to be careful. Call of the Forge God will come in. Parallel convergence will find the CCBL. Can he get over the wall in time? He's got the flash. He gets the taunt and dashes over the wall, but Purple Wizard will follow. He will find the kill onto BL. Purple Wizard gets taken down very low, but it doesn't matter. They find the kill regardless.
Yeah, that flash into a face dive, there's no way you escape there, Shen, but it was a good effort there. But we are finally getting something onto Purple Wizard after Renegade took 2 of the kills in the last fight, which was sadly not the priority target. But still, it is something for Ikast, and now they can start focusing on this.
Oh no, the dredge line misses its mark, and the deadly spines will
but here
not.
we have a man.
Yep, here we go, the Grand Starfall coming in, and there's a killer instinct. Good stopwatch from Lundsen, but the Shen will follow as well. And this is the power of the comp from Sørby Solitude. So much dive potential here with the Kreiner BL combo. Let's just take a look with our replay cam. It's actually in the mid lane.
Yeah, we see
Oh, Pup turned it
really
around.
low, and then just gets picked off. Nice. Sweet. So we are trading 1-for-1 across the map, but definitely they were using a lot of resources on that bot side.
Yeah, a lot of resources indeed, and they couldn't even get the second kill as well. But speaking of second kills, Salt does have his second kill of the game. As matches what Lundsen had in game 2, where he was 2-0-2 on the Caitlyn, and with that second pickaxe now having been purchased, that will be the Catherine Rain getting evolved.
Yeah, and this is still the very standard build we've seen from Kaiser. I would like to see if he will start playing with Stormracer after the changes, since that she's still been using the Stormracer build quite a few times on the last patch. And seeing if this crit change will actually make a crit Kaiser viable would be interesting, because we have seen like 2-piece and 3-piece Kaiser a few times, but mostly 2-piece because 3-piece was never really an option. But maybe a new standardized version that could perhaps use Phantom Dancer and i.e. Stormracer would be a new fit for the meta.
Well, fantastic stuff regardless from Ikast-Brande as they pick up the Mountain
Cloud Soul,
Drake.
get ready.
Here we go. The Cloud Wind quickens as we have been alerted. As in the bot lane, depth charge coming in. The focus is onto Lundsen. Killer instinct coming in. 2 TPs are being channeled. Lundsen will get taken out beforehand. Can they find the kill onto Juggernaut? He gets taken down very low. Glacial path forward. 1 TP did get cancelled, but Purple Wizard on his way down. That's going to be the Zonia's getting burned. Glacial Tomb onto Uzi as Uzi just about finds the kill, but Kreiner is here looking to turn this around. He'll find the kill with a Comet Spear, but Purple Wizard will find the kill as well. This does give Throw some time just to pick up some turret places. This is a 3-for-2 in favor of Ikast-Brande.
Yeah, they just keep on finding all of these ways to claw themselves back in. They now have the gold lead as well.
Yeah. Gold actually perfectly even right now. 9 kills to 8. A game on a knife's edge. But with that said, doesn't quite matter. Let's take a look at the replay again. Yeah, and the Shadow Assault cancelling the TP, and
wait,
Juggernaut
Kaiser
so low.
mid-push.
Oh, here we go. The Grand Starfall into the bottom lane. Dredgeline will land as well onto Lundsen. As out comes the Featherstorm. They find the kill onto the Echo, as you mentioned. Lundsen will be able to get out, but that's some nice shutdown gold going over to Kreiner, who is now 7-2 on the Pantheon.
Want to quickly point the attention as well to Echo items. Nash's too. That's an interesting one.
Yep, as the focus in the bot lane on to the turret once again. Rift Herald still yet to be secured. 13, make that 14 minutes into the game. Glacial Path in. The ultimate is available from Uzi Mad. That Glacial Tomb. Will he lock? Throw it down in his tomb. Yes, he will. Good flash out with the Inspire, and Thrower will just about survive that one.
Yeah, and it also seems like we are gonna see a Stormbracer Sire to top that off. So we are seeing some neo builds already coming out, experimenting in this new meta. So some balls already seeing from these players, they have already started to adapt, really thinking about what these new changes are gonna mean. And I will love to see how it's gonna focus in now that we are getting even so closer to.
I think
the
you're
main
getting
event.
ahead of yourself here, Nick, because I think that could still be a static shift first. Because in game one, I can't remember who. I think it was Salt played something similar. He got the BF sword, and then he went for a static shiv before the IE. And
Why are you gonna be such a poopy here?
as I said, I'm just giving our viewers, all the potential alternatives. Because if I get it wrong, I can say that's why I'm not a color caster, and if I get it right, I can say, see, I am the superior analyst. So it's win-win for me.
We do see both junglers heading towards bot side. However, Renegade is looking for maybe something in the mid lane.
Oh, here we go. Dredgeline will land. Blast going safety,
Oh
but
my
it doesn't
God.
matter. Juggernaut's already been taken down. The ult will land, and there's a parallel convergence as
And
well.
it-
Do they have the damage? Oh, they're torn in as BL joins the fight, and it's 2 kills for nothing. Lunson gets taken down very low with Kathy and Rain in, but the flash away from Lunson as Assault will use the power drive, I believe it's called, out to safety as Uzi finds a CC onto BL under turret, but that's
Oh,
a big
it's very
soul
low.
flare,
Oh,
and
nice
that's a
ult.
good sell-off. Kryna gets taken down low, but they find the turret in time. Uzi now running for it, flash forward, as Sol will find the kill. 4-1 on the Kikes, then all of a sudden, the side of Sørby Solitude has exploded with life.
And everything is just going wrong for Ikast here. They don't have the response in time. We see Juggernaut just falling immediately. And when Uzi actually finally is there, he isn't able to do anything. It's just a way too late delay for Ikast, that we aren't used to seeing from them. But it's just also just Sørby
Oh.
just that far ahead now.
A lot of damage onto Juggernaut. The turret will get taken. However, Purple feeling aggressive. Renegade on his way down. Call of the Forge God is available. And the Forge God will be caught, but it will be missed at the crucial moment. Keep Barry buys BL a little bit of time. Purple Wizard gets taken down very low, but will burn the Chrono Break. It's a return kill for Ikast-Brande, but they lose 2 turrets in the mid lane and the bot lane. Rift Herald is up. However, we will be getting that Cloud Drake in a few seconds, so Ikast-Brande should be able to pick that one up.
Yeah, and it's actually not even gonna be very close so far, because we still have this massive ADC difference. A Stormracer finally picked up by Lonson as called.
Damn, I was wrong.
Analyst, as well as like 2 items picked up by Salt here, with Ginsus and Muramana both being completed. Of course, this is going to be a massive difference in terms of carry damage, but also just that most of the damage currently on Ikast is AP, so they need to get some gold onto Lunson if they want any chance of winning.
Yeah, then as you mentioned, and as we have been seeing mentioned in the Twitch chat as well, a lot of AP on the side of Ikast-Brande. They need to get Lunson some damage. As well, speaking of some damage, but damage for turrets, Kryna is going to get spotted out. Searing Charger forward. Kryna will flash out to safety as the turret in the top lane will fall. Kryna does have the Rift Herald as well, so that can be getting dropped at a moment's notice. BL also will be having the Stand Unite up in just a short space of time, so once again, Sørby Solitude will have that massive dive potential.
Yeah, we're getting ever so close to the own item spikes. He's level 12 so far, upgrading his own items. Now we need one more level and then can start upgrading items. And I really hope that we can see some items immediately, so we can just get that extra bit of gold spike so we can keep Ikast in the game.
I mean, let's face it, Ikast are already, they're in this game. It's about Sørby Solitude getting the massive advantage early.
Like,
They've
they're
started
definitely
to
in
find that though.
But what I want right now is that Ikast are still currently being pressured. We see Kryna, we see Bielle, and we see Natasha all being able to just go in. And that's what's really scary, when they can't really stop the front line consistently, because they don't have the members. They have 2 TPs, but they can't use both of them at the same time, because in that case we just have somebody being vulnerable. If they don't use both at the same time, they might not have enough members to stop the fight. And that's just what Bielle makes here with his ult, because that means they have an extra TP on their side.
Yeah, both, speaking of the TPs, both TPs available for both top laners. However, in the mid lane is only Uzi who has that TP available. Also, we talk about the dive potential. We talk about the damage that Sørby Solitude have in this early game. Wraithblade has been completed for Salt and also has the component towards that Nash's Tooth. The Stinger. There we go. Now, we've got another Cloud Drake coming up in 2.5 minutes as well. And the current Drake situation is 1 Drake apiece, if I'm not mistaken. Wait, no, 2 Drakes to 1 in favor of Ikast-Brande. As
we are looking for
parallel convergence. Here we go. They're looking for Thrower God. The Forge God will come in. The TP getting channeled as well. That's a big shield for Thrower. As out come Desire Pod. Who are they looking for? It doesn't matter because Sørby are getting taken down. Purple Wizard, though, very, very low. But they will be able to find the kill onto Kryner now. Thrower forced to run. BL nowhere to go, and he will get taken down. It's a 3 kills for nothing. Thrower, the next focus as well. Void Seeker takes Purple Wizard down low. Salt finds a kill. Now the drive away to safety as Sørby Solitude, they'll find a kill in return and won't make it a complete loss.
Yeah, and that was just Salt being also just completely zoned for so much of the fight. With Purple Wizard, Renegade, Juggernaut and Lunson just immediately following it up. And then Uzi Matt coming in on that side to just finally lock the rest of the damage that needed to really focus on these kills. Just an amazing synergy there, and also just an overextend by Sørby's side.
Yeah, big overextender from Sørby and well punished. But here we go, the Manthian will arrive. We talked about overextension. The Taunt comes in. This is big. They take down Renegade as well. And just when we were praising Ikast-Brande for their punishment, well, it's Sørby who find the punish now. Shelly gets spawned in the mid lane, and that quick spawn means that is going to give Sørby Solitude the time to turn towards the Baron. Purple Wizard is alive, but can he contest? You have to doubt it. Baron burning down. It's at 6,000 HP already.
Need some Purple magic here. Wait,
Purple will get spotted out. And here we go, into the red, but he gets CC'd down and will have to ult out. As Kryner will secure the Baron. 3 minutes of a Baron power play, I do believe. As now we've got the Cloud Drake spawning in just a little bit. Ikast can look for that. But I've actually got a question for you right now, Nick. Do you, if you are Ikast, do you go for the Drake? Because if you go for the Drake, you will cause an earlier Elder, which will allow Sørby Solitude to potentially power spike and get stronger quicker.
Be allowed.
Yeah. So just even if you can take it, you do not take it if you're Ikast-Brande.
I do still think that the permanent buff from by getting a soul could be great, but because that's extra movement speed on your ult. Yeah. But I would still say you don't want to fight anybody with Baron buff.
Yeah. And there's already a couple of Cloud Drakes, but here we go. The Drake's been started. The fight comes in. Call of the Forge God. Salt will burn the stopwatch. Renegade going in. Salt gets taken down low. Killer Instinct into the backline. Can he find the kill onto Juggernaut? No, he can't, but it doesn't matter. It's a 4v3. Juggernaut very low. They'll be able to find the kill. Natasha gets taken down low. But as you mentioned, Lunsen coming in from behind. He'll find the kill. And this is big. Ikast find the fight. They're going to find BL as well. And that's the quadra kill from Uzi. It's an ace. And now Ikast, they will look towards the Drake. They can then look to push in the waves. The Baron buff is gone. And Sørby Solitude, they needed the early game fights. They needed the early game damage. And that might be their ticket out of this game.
Yeah, and this also was incredible to see. Not only because this was the absolute confirmation that they can still take fights and they can really execute them well, but also they had just forgotten about Lissandra passive altogether. They let Salt be exposed, and then they just kept running into Lissandra passive after Lissandra passive, letting Uzi just make amazing amount of damage here.
Here we go on the replay. Let's just take a look at this, because instantly the focus is on Renegade, and then they turn.
Yeah, and then they go onto the Drake here, but as a true Kaiser main, you would not walk outside of the pit there. You would not. Yeah. You stay in the pit. And Lunson just taking all the attention away from the rest of his team. Meanwhile, we just see Salt trying to dive in. Uzi now realizes he has to get back there. And he just drops the ult just to ensure the execute. Here comes the Kaiser Ghost. Does kills Kleiner. Then another Pantheon goes here, comes to deal some damage to Biel, and then we just continue. As Purple Wizard might be coming for a guard here.
Yeah, thrower guard will get spotted out.
Hermione time stop.
Is that what you call it? Is that what you call it, Nicholas?
Hermione is the only one who can reverse time, so yes. Echo is confirmed Hermione whenever Purple Wizard plays.
I'd just like to clarify, a lot of people have used time, just that we don't know exactly who, because the book doesn't reveal. I'm also sure one of the other characters used a time turner at some point. However...
I mean, yeah, of course.
I'm pretty sure it mentions another character using the time turner.
Oh yeah, like, Hermione got it.
Yeah, anyway. At least I get the reference. I should be happy with that. However,
Yes,
back
you
to
knew a
the
reference,
game.
Milky. I'm so proud.
Yes, I don't think anyone in the chat got the South Park reference though. However, back to the game. 18 kills to 17. It's still a 2.5k gold advantage for
and all
Sørby
items
Solitude.
coming in. One here for Echo, upgrading
Exactly.
Zonius.
The
And
Zonius
the
comes
Death
in.
already upgraded for Uzimat as well.
Yeah,
Oh,
this
Yella,
is-
you might be caught out here.
Does he have the shadow
Oh, but
dash? But the
meanwhile,
fight's
it's
happening
split
in the
fight.
mid lane. There comes the Sand Unite. It's onto the Yorn. But is the Yorn going to get taken down in time? No, he will
Nice.
not. Biel goes in, but Biel is
wait,
going
Sol-
into his death. As you mentioned, Sol gets taken down. It's just thrower guard remaining, but is not going to be enough as Uzi gets so many more kills. This could even potentially be, no, it can't quite be game, not just yet. The death times just are not long enough. 25 minutes in, but here we go. Ikast, they're looking towards the top side of the map. They want to grab this inner turret in the top lane.
Yeah, and this to me just reminds me extremely much of what we saw Sørby play last game. They had just amazing amounts of ults. They just didn't get to use them as much. This time we do get to see them here, because Sørby only really has one carry champion in the Kai'Sa. Once the Kai'Sa can't carry, which actually is surprisingly quick, then suddenly, like, the team can't do anything. They can put all the defensive stabs onto the Kai'Sa, but the Kai'Sa can't run through 5 people, sadly.
And yeah, Salt just can't even get into a decent position for it as well. And we've hit the point now where Kreiner is going to be really falling off, and Purple is just going to be so much bigger as well. Lunson now has the Static Shift as well as the Storm Razor. Once he completes that IE, that can get upgraded by the Ornn as well. And you have to feel that time is really running out for Sørby. They might have a couple more minutes where they could have an advantage in a 5v5, but we've already seen Ikast start to win those fights. So Sørby, they need to find a good pick, and they need to find a massive way to get an advantage.
Yeah, remember, this is another Cloud Drake coming up, more CDR. And if Ikast gets this, they will probably get the Cloud Soul, I'm pretty sure about that. Which means that they will then have extra movement speed, meaning they have basically a Nimbus Cloak for whenever they press ult.
We've got Cloud Drake coming up at just under a minute. There have been so many Cloud Drakes this game, I have lost count. But I think this might be the third Drake second Drake if Sørby Solitude get it, but if Ikast-Brande get it, it will be their fourth Drake. But oh no, Sørby Solitude, you don't want to step there. Call of the Forge God comes in, it finds the knockup, and this is the fight that Ikast need. They get the double kill onto Purple Wizard. Salt will get out, but it doesn't quite matter because the Baron is up, and with Kreiner down, this is going to be an easy pick for Ikast-Brande.
Yeah, and especially they might even transition into a Drake after to also get the permanent buff from that and spawning the Elder Drake. Yeah. Like, this is entirely Ikast's favor from this point on. Like,
this feels like game.
Yeah, like, this is just Sørby trying to get something back, making sure that they can't get that extra permanent buff, because I think they might be caught out here, but if they can somehow just run away with it, they might just be still slightly left in the game.
And we've got another Cloud Drake, Nicholas, as Joe, what was that really cool thing you did with those colors? I think it's something. I know production did something very, very cool on the map and like made lots of things like blue and green and red.
Yeah, and remember, our Baron time is still not updated yet. So it is. You have to remember there is a 30-second delay here.
Oh, there we go. Juicy.
Oh, on.
Here we go. Ornhorn, as you mentioned, will
Reiner.
find Kreiner, and here is the collapse. If they can get down the Manthian, then it is going to be easy from here on out. It's now a 5v4, and Ikast-Brande, they're looking for the mid lane. They're looking for the final touch. The wave will be crashing in. BL's stand unite won't even matter anymore. The turret gets taken down so quickly. And Ikast-Brande now, they can look for the inhibited turret as well. Don't need to split push. They will just push as a 5 there. Team fight's big. The shadow dash in. Sørby Solitude. Is this their fight? The CC will land onto Natasha, but the self will get caught. It is so big. Uzi is huge on the Lissandra. Now, the Glacial Pathful can't quite find the kill onto Throgar, but he will fall regardless. It's another ace, and they get it for no deaths. Kreiner has respawned, but the base is collapsing, and the CC instantly onto Kreiner, perfectly timed by Juggernaut, and they will complete the ace. The base is open, and the undefeated run will continue. Ikast-Brande, they lock in their spot into playoffs as the top seeds.
As the champions of the universe come in here, Ikast-Brande will now continue their legacy with their 8-0 record, already taken down our second highest ranked players in Sørby. Is there anybody who's going to be able to stop them, Milky?
I would have to say no. They've looked so clean, with the exception of that first game. As you mentioned, you know, the Blitzcrank got picked up great into the lane, but just didn't synergize with the likes of the Kazakhs. And with the exception of that game, they've just been the cleaner team. The only issue was, again, that game 1 in the top lane, and that was it.
Yeah, and what I really think is also mattering here is how important some key pieces are. Like, we see a great synergy in the bot lane with Lunsen and... I'm sorry, I'm just too excited. I can't even names right now. But just Lunsen just greatly having so much impact, and he's really getting all of this impact by the help of Requiem here on his Smurf here today. We saw him, and then we have Renegade, who's just soaking all of it up top lane. It doesn't matter how many times he's overextended and dies for it, because he's soaking all the attention, making sure that Lunsen and Uzimat can carry, and then also gives Purple Wizard more times to 2v2, and probably get some leads off that as well.
In terms of an MVP, who do we want to give it to?
Who do we want to give it to?
Because I feel like in games 1 and 2, bot lane were absolutely massive. Actually, thank you so much for that, Joe.
Yeah.
So I think Lunsen was great, but Purple Wizard in games 2 and 3 was also really good.
Yeah, I definitely think it's a lot harder to say this time, because there was a lot of factors in play. I do, however, think if we have to be entirely fair about everything that happened today, I would actually say that it would be the support. Like, I honestly think it's the support who was the most clean in all 3 games combined. Setting up the plays on the Blitzcrank massively. Then we after that see 2 Syra games that were both really clean, setting up a lot of plays. And just
we won't mention the flash E in game 2 that he missed though.
Yeah, it was a zoning E, and it actually slowed, so it did actually do something.
Okay, yeah. But yeah, no, Juggernaut though did play absolutely fantastically all games.
Juggernaut, also known as Requiem, as it isn't a sub-in, it's just a different account. While we don't usually permit this in split, there are certain circumstances preventing Requiem from being on his main account, and yeah, Juggernaut is Requiem, and Juggernaut is playing an amazing performer, especially pulling out the Syra, something we weren't really expecting to see today.
With that said and done though, I think that's all that we've got time for. Do you have any final words, Nick?
The universe will continue its legacy with Ikast-Brande, as they are looking to get that undefeated first seed as we are getting closer and closer to the main tournament. It's been a joy to especially watch all of these preseason changes, and we hope to see even more insane stuff to really throw the players for a curveball.
Well, that's about all we have time for, ladies and gents. Thank you very much for tuning in. Would like to give some shout outs to our sponsors, FarUp, Hungry.dk, Stream Boss, Kim's, and eSport Trick. As we do, thank you very much for those sponsors. From myself and Nick, that's all we've got time for. Ikast-Brande pick up the 2-1 against Sørby Solitude. They are now 8-0 in the standings and will be your first seeds heading into playoffs. Sørby Solitude, if they win in their next game, they will be the second seed heading into playoffs. Thank you very much for joining us. Stay tilt-proof on the Rift, guys, and we'll see you next time.